Now, insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. That's 800-694-1127.
If you've tried to buy a Rolex watch lately, you know how difficult it is. New models are in rare supply. Some jewelers put you on wait lists. Others make you buy their other jewelry at inflated prices just to be considered for a Rolex purchase. Well, that's all changed now that Genesis Diamonds has arrived. Genesis Diamonds is the premier dealer of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. People who come in are shocked to see Daytonas, Hulks, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejusts, all the hard-to-find Rolex watches ready to wear today. At Genesis, we've used our worldwide connections to find only the first luxury pre-owned Rolexes, immaculate, pristine watches, fairly priced with no strings attached, and with flexible financing options. So enough with the wait list and the retail jeweler games. Get the Rolex of your dreams today at Genesis Diamonds. And if you already have a Rolex and are interested in trading up, we also have Rolex buyers on site every day. Just another example of how we're forever changing the jewelry landscape here. Genesis Diamonds, official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Somewhere around 400 feet off the ground, RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. When I first got out, I felt like my whole life had been smushed down to just medical appointments. I was going to occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. I felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
And Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker.
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
You ever listen to that intro before? Like, really listen to it? Like, obviously you got the John Morant call from Pete Pranica. You know what the first one is a Barry Bonds home run. That doesn't have anything to do with Memphis. And the last one is Stephon Diggs scoring a touchdown. You know, maybe a little more local flair in the intro, Zach. That's all I'm saying.
But we're a sports station.
Yeah, but we like low. How about an Albert home run? Barry Bonds, please. Oh, now we're supporting steroids too. Please, I don't like drugs, kid. Don't do drugs. This is Mornings. I'm not Greg nor Eli. Zach is neither Greg nor Eli either. But we're in here hosting today, Sports 56 Mornings. So we're gonna be with you for the next 3 hours. I've got to do all the cross your T's and dot your I's things that you do in radio first. Okay, so first thing I have to tell you the date. It's Friday, October 6th. We're working for the weekend, right, Zach?
Oh, most definitely.
Working for the weekend. It's 7:01 a.m. in 33 seconds. I mean, I'm giving you down to the second.
Yeah, like the seconds matter at this point.
They have to. They have to at 7 in the morning because maybe you hit the snooze button and maybe like maybe if you still have a radio alarm clock, it comes on with Sports 56 because you love us so much, and so you need to know the second. That way, oh man, I have 30 more seconds to sleep or whatever. I also need to tell you the weather. Generally, the time and temp. That's the morning show thing. I don't know the temperature, but it's foggy. It's definitely foggy. It was foggy when I drove in this morning. It's been foggy all morning, and I think it's going to be in like the 80s today. I mean, it's probably in the 70s right now, somewhere in the 70s. Is that specific enough?
Yeah, right now the high is 62.
Wow.
The temperature right now is 62, but the high will be in the high 70s.
How about that? A little cool day on a Friday, working for the weekend. And
no rain in the forecast.
Let's say, hopefully no rain too. That's exactly what we're looking for. So what a beautiful day ahead of us. The last thing I have to do is tell you where I'm sitting. It's the Family Leisure Studios. What a great sponsor they are to sponsor our studios. It's where family and fun come together. Everybody knows that. You know what they're having right now, Zach? It's the world's biggest spa sale. There's not a bigger one in the world. You can't find it. It's only at Family Leisure. It's back and it's bigger and better than ever. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers. Wow, 5 different manufacturers, so you really can pick the best one for you. Up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. Wow, so you got all of that kind of stuff in there. Free upgrades on all in-stock spas. 24 months, same as cash financing available. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. I got to go see the world's biggest spa sale. That's almost like going to the World's Fair. I mean, it's an event in and of itself. Even if you don't get anything, which you should get something because they got great stuff over there, you can go see the world's biggest spa sale. So that's everything, right? I tell you the weather, I told you the time, and I told you where we're sitting, the Family Leisure Studios. Again, Zach Boyd, and I'm Jay Morgan Harder, and we're going to be with you the next 3 hours here. First thing I got to get to is Thursday Night Football last night. We all predicted the Bears were going to win by 20, right?
Clearly.
We all said it. I mean, we've been saying it for weeks. We knew that was going to happen. We said before the season even started, first win, easy for the Bears, Thursday Night Football Week 5. We all knew it coming. A little bit of fool's gold, too. But I tell you what, with the news of Dick Butkus passing away yesterday, they won it for Dick Butkus. They went out there and played on the road in a hostile Washington environment and won it for the legendary linebacker. DJ Moore is a monster. He was unbelievable yesterday. He had 3 touchdowns. They basically just threw it to him. And it wasn't like there was one he caught in the end zone, but, man, he was just going down the sidelines. In fact, he could have had another touchdown, but they said he stepped out of bounds, which he did step out of bounds, but he was running. He was not upset. He was not happy when they told him he stepped out of bounds. It was an unbelievable game from him. He had 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like I said, 8 receptions. How about this? 5th player in NFL history with 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in prime time. See, I don't like that stipulation there. I saw that stat this morning, Zach, and I was just like, that's such an obscure statistic. You have to say it happened in prime time. How many players in NFL history have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns? Why is it the 5th player in the history of prime time to have 200 yards and 3 touchdowns? Seems like they're doing some creative statistic making there.
I mean, the last person or receiver that I guess had that type of statistic was probably Josh Gordon. With the Browns?
Or Tyreek.
Yeah, Tyreek.
I think it's probably Tyreek.
But easily, Josh, for me, is Josh Gordon with the Browns. That's the one time I can think of, and that's because he was on my fantasy team.
I can't wait to see Josh Gordon come back again this year. I mean, there will be a point in the year where there's no more receivers Josh Gordon practice squad, or guaranteed. Probably not, actually. So is Magic Johnson more on the game in a minute, but I have to get to this. Is Magic Johnson... he's part owner of the commies now, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Are we calling them the commies?
Well, that's what I call them. Isn't everybody calling them the commies? Is it that colloquial? No, people aren't calling them the commies. I think we should all start, and you know what? I'm going to only refer to them as the commies from here on out, just so maybe we can get people catching on. Oh, I forgot to cross a T and dot an I, Zach. I forgot. The number is 901-360-8255. I want to hear your calls today. Yeah, you don't have to talk about the topic we're talking about. You give me a call, I'm taking it. I'm putting you on there because generally, when I'm hosting shows or even producing shows in the afternoon. Less callers. It's popping in the morning. I'm telling you, it's always popping off in the morning. And I want to hear what you have to say. 901-360-8255. Give me a call. Give me and Zach a ring. We're going to take your calls. The only thing I ask is you tell me either what celebrity you look like. Before you ask your question or talk about your topic, tell me what celebrity you look like and what's your favorite Halloween movie. Or you could do both. You could do one or the other, but I need one of those two before I give you a chance to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Anyway. Irvin Magic Johnson. He is part owner of the commies, I believe, and Zach just confirmed it for me. He had a tweet after the game. Oh, man, I love a good Magic Johnson tweet. Analyzing football here. You want to hear it? Here it is. Tonight, the Commanders, the commies as we call them, tonight, the Commanders played with no intensity or fire. We didn't compete in the first half and got down 27-3 headed into halftime. It was too big a hole to climb out of, and that's why we ended up losing 40-20. It's all facts, is it not? All facts. All business Magic. Because generally it's all business Pete, but his name is Magic. Anyway. Too big of a hole to climb out of, and so that's great analysis from Irvin Magic Johnson. You don't always get analysis from the owner. Your boys always get analysis from the owner, don't they, Zach? Jerry always has his press conference after the game.
I mean, yeah, when you're a $1 billion owner, you can do whatever you want.
And Irvin's one. Well, is Irvin a $1 billion owner? He's part owner, right?
He's part owner. I don't think he's $1 billion.
But we still get his thoughts after the game, and that's what's important. Him and Jerry. I can't think of another owner that does that. I think it's just in football. I mean, just those two. But nonetheless, we
can't wait for him to state the obvious.
Oh man, Irvin is great. Irvin Magic Johnson, the best at telling us exactly what's going on. The first meme, in fact, as a reply to that, is Kramer putting his finger up saying that's true, and he's right. It is true. That's a true statement. He said we didn't come out. We got down too big, too early, and couldn't come back. The turning point in the game for me, for my money, was Antonio Gibson. Poor guy. It was 3rd and 15. The Commies are down 30-20 at this point. 3rd and 15, and they know they have 2 downs to get a first down because they're playing at like the 35, 40-yard line, and they throw a quick pass in the flat to Antonio Gibson, and he just drops it. I mean, just literally through his hands. It was a horrible drop. Poor guy. Thank God the Tigers don't play this week because you know how they always do the thing, Zach, at the Tiger football games where they like tell you what the NFL players are doing. They have like the highlights on the Jumbotron and say like this person did this week, and it'll be like always the crowd goes crazy when they show a Tony Pollard highlight. Oh man, thank goodness the Tigers don't play this week, so people, those poor fans at the Tiger games, don't have to see Antonio Gibson drop a pass that maybe cost them the football game. I mean, oh my God.
that one hurt a little bit.
It did because now it was 3rd and 15, drop pass. It's 4th and 15. You're forced to kick a field goal, which they missed. Whereas if you're playing 2 down territory there, if you're playing with 2 downs on 3rd down, you catch that pass. Let's say you get 7 yards, let's say. Maybe that's too much, but it seemed like he had some room to work. Let's just say 6 or 7 yards. Now you're working with a 4th and 6, 4th and 7, and maybe that's more feasible to go for it there, but you're forced to kick that field goal. And even if you do kick a field goal on that 4th down, it's an easier field goal. That 6 or 7 yards makes it a much easier field goal than the one they ended up having to kick there. Maybe they would have missed it either way, but it seems to me that was a huge drop and a turning point in the game. Justin Fields I haven't mentioned because I mentioned DJ Moore was unbelievable. Justin Fields was just throwing it to DJ Moore last night, and Cole Kmet for that matter. 15 for 29, Zach. But he had 4 touchdowns. Good or bad?
That's pretty good.
Is it?
How many yards?
262. 282. I'm sorry, 282.
Only 282?
282. 15 for 29.
Well, then again, like most of the yards came from DJ Moore. He had like 230.
Exactly. And the yards after the catch, it doesn't have this on ESPN's stat page here, but his yards after catch were ridiculous. It was like the most yards after catch. I can't remember what the stat was, but it was an insane amount of yards after catch. So that kind of puts it in perspective for me a little bit. That was more about DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. I mean, DJ Moore had 8 receptions. Cole Kmet had 5 receptions. That's 13 catches right there, and Justin Fields only completed 15 passes. So it seems to me a little bit of fool's gold talking about the Bears are back. Damian Woody said this morning on ESPN, I was listening to him, D. Wood, love Damian Woody. He's on Get Up all the time. D. Wood. He said opening up the playbook for Justin Fields changed the game, letting him sling it. I mean, I guess, but he was just throwing it to DJ Moore. And DJ Moore is that good of a receiver. And furthermore, when he's not open, Cole Kmet is that good of a tight end where they just make plays happen. Justin Fields doesn't have to do it a whole lot. I'm not trying to say that Justin Fields is this and that because plenty of people are ripping Justin Fields. They don't need me to do it too. But I'm just saying all this positivity like, oh, Justin Fields found something here. The Commies are playing really good football, so this is a really stellar win for the Bears. I'm saying, in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends. Like I said, that 3rd and 15 with Antonio Gibson was the game changer for me, but I'm not sure the Commanders have a great defense either. I saw a lot of handicappers before the game taking the over Bears 19.5 points, which did get there, but you could still lose. I mean, the Commanders scored over 19. They scored 20 points in a loss. So it could be. And the Commanders, while they had been playing competitive games, they lost a close one to the Eagles last week. They gave up 20-some-odd points in that one. They gave up 34 points to the Eagles. They gave up 37 to the Bills. They gave up 33 to the Broncos. And they gave up 16 to the Cardinals in week 1. So it seems to me maybe the Commanders' defense isn't that good. I don't know. I mean, you 40 points. Your defense isn't very good.
Well, I know Washington, their front four is really good.
No kidding.
Their front four is really good. Now on the back end with the second level defenders with the linebackers and the cornerbacks and the safeties, that's where you can get. Yeah, that's where you can get them. And DJ Moore and Justin Fields pretty much was playing pitch and catch all night.
That's a really good point by you, too, which is probably why Damian Woody said they opened up the playbook, because the Bears and Matt Eberflus, in preparing for this game, knew we can throw it all over the field on these guys. And they did it on first downs. I mean, on first downs, they were airing it out and not just throwing these, dump-off air outs. I mean, they're throwing it to, like we said, 15 completions, and 8 of them went to DJ Moore, 5 of them went to Cole Kmet. So they're airing it out. On the other side, Sam Howell, listen to this stat line, 37 for 51. They threw the ball 51 times. He completed 36. He completed more passes than Justin Fields attempted, and they lost by 20. But then again, they really lost by 10. The game was over after they missed that field goal. So I'm not sitting here saying they lost by 20 necessarily. Plus, the game was over after they missed that field goal. But still, unbelievable. 51 attempts, 37 completions. Sam Howell threw for 388. He had 2 touchdowns, a terrible interception. Guy over the middle in a little stop route, I don't know the names of routes, but he just a little comeback stop route or whatever, he stopped in the middle of the field, and Sam Howell was so late throwing the ball to him, and it was just picked off. It just jumped the route completely, whoever that defender was that had the interception. It was not a good throw. It was Greg Stroman had the interception. There you go. I got the name for you just looking through the box score. But Sam Howell, 388. I'm impressed by him. He took 5 sacks in the game. But I guess that happens if you drop back 51 times. You're going to take more than 51 times, because he had 51 attempts. So that's at least 56 times he dropped back in the game. Tough game for him in terms of losing that game when you throw for 388. You hate to have that happen. Only 10 rushing attempts from Washington, from the Commies. What does that mean? And 4 of them were scrambles by Sam Howell. So 6 rushing attempts from Brian Robinson. Antonio Gibson didn't get any. What do you think of that?
That lets me know that their offensive line is terrible and they don't have balance overall.
Is the Bear?
You're relying on a pretty much a first year starter, second year player to win you games with his arm. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna work.
He's good though, man. He's good. Is the Bear?
He's really good at commanding the offense, but again,
pun intended.
He's a young player.
Commanding the offense.
I'm just saying, he's a young player.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's a young player. You have to establish a running game. Was it AG was a 1,000-yard rusher? For some strange reason with the Commanders, they decided that he's not their running back anymore. And they went with Brian Robinson.
Didn't even get a carry. Not one. Not a single carry. But they threw the ball. He had the drop. They threw the ball to him. He completed 4 times, 6 total targets. So they're throwing him the ball, but not giving it to him with handoffs. And so I guess that's a good point by you. They don't trust the offensive line. I was trying to decide whether or not it was does the Bears have a front 4 or front 7 that's menacing? And I don't think so, do they? Yannick Ngakoue, he's a front 7 guy, right? He's a good player.
I don't even know who's on their team anymore.
Yeah, Yannick Ngakoue is really the only one that I recognize in terms of really stellar.
Was it Billings?
Yeah, Andrew Billings.
He's from Bama, is he?
Is he? Your guess is as good as mine there. I'll take your word for it.
Because I remember him making a play. I was like, it's like Billings. I've seen that name before somewhere. So it could be a combination. Baylor. He's from Baylor.
Oh, he went to Baylor. Well, it could be a combination of things too. Is that they don't trust the offensive line in terms of run blocking, and they thought that they were outmatched in terms of the Chicago front 4. I would say it's probably, like you said, they're not giving Antonio Gibson the ball. It seems like this is a scheme deal. They want to create runs by throwing the ball out to the flat. It's what they tried to do on 3rd and 15 in that play I talked about earlier in that game. So I don't think anyone expected 60 points last night in Thursday Night Football. You were hearing a lot of snooze fest, a lot of yawns coming from everybody. But I'll tell you what, that game turned into a really exciting one, and not one you want to miss. I love the Thursday night football games. I really do. Everyone's like, oh, this is a terrible Thursday night game. I would argue, Zach, there is no bad Thursday night game because it's standalone National Football League stuff, and it's as good as it gets in that regard. So it's really, really exciting to see all that stuff there. So Thursday night football is over with. We got to talk more about the NFL and what's coming up later in the show as well, because we want to preview all the games this week. And we're going to talk to I forgot to cross and tee down another I. We got Brandon Lang coming on later. We're going to talk through some of his best bets in college football and the NFL. And coming up in like 10 minutes here, or less even, John Varlos is going to join us here, and he's going to talk about all of the great high school games, some of which went off last night, more of which going off tomorrow night. Zach, did you even know when you were in high school, did they play football on Thursdays?
Yeah.
Really?
I was in a band.
So was I.
Yeah, so.
How about that?
I was in a band.
What instrument did you play?
Yeah, baritone.
Really?
Yeah, because Thursday games were the only games that I was available to play on, so.
Really?
Yeah, so I couldn't do Friday night games or anything like that.
So I was in the drum line, so I'm playing the drums and stuff like that. I was my go-to was the quad drums there. But so I love doing the quad drums. But then I went to a small high school, and so I started broadcasting the football games, talking into microphones. I knew early on I liked talking into microphones, and so I started broadcasting the games. How about that? Two band guys, couple of band guys cutting it up.
Yeah.
How about that? Unbelievable stuff. Well, I didn't know they played on Thursdays, and there was a lot of Thursday night games yesterday that we're going to talk to John about because Collierville played Cordova last night. Arlington played Houston, some pretty good games there. And I found a guy named Sonny Moore. You know Sonny Moore?
No.
Sonny Moore is a gem. He has a website where he power ranks with like He ranks everybody, but he has like what he calls a power ranking, and it's like just a number he assigns to each team in the state of Tennessee high school football, and you use that number. He makes lines for high school football games. We got odds on high school football games. I'm going to grill John and ask him about against the spread. Oh, we're picking high school games against the spread. I'm a gambler, Zach. I love it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's going to be fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good games going on this week, too.
Listen, man, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but if you feel like you need to throw some action on a high school football game, be my guest.
This is the problem, though, is there's no bookmaker for it. You know what I mean? There's nobody that's taking the money. This guy just makes like arbitrary odds. Now, if you can find someone that will take your money to bet on high school football, that's a degenerate right there. But I guess if you're a bookmaker, it's a sleuth, right? He's a businessman or a businesswoman. I don't want to say which gender's a bookmaker, but it would be very, very interesting to see what would happen in that regard. That's really all I got for the first segment. We got to talk about the NFL later, too. Like I said, college football. I got a lot of NBA stuff. Preseason started yesterday, Zach. Exciting stuff in preseason basketball yesterday. Playing in Abu Dhabi. Steve Harvey was at the game. Oh, man. He took a break from hosting Family Feud for a minute to go to Abu Dhabi to watch some basketball. There's some great movies coming out this weekend. And I've got a surprise for Zach later in the show. That'll happen in the 8 o'clock hour. You're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take a break. When we come back, John Varlos on the other side.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets' offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all of the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic's really building now, coming out of Collierville, right on schedule, actually, on 385 Billmores Parkway, coming past Kirby all the way up to 240. It's increasing even more on 51 out of Millington, 40. That's got a little bit of volume just in the last few minutes across the bridge over from West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is back open, better than ever. Go by and see David and the family this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
John Varlas joining us now. He is the prep sports reporter for the Daily Memphian, which will be a lot of fun to talk to him here. This will be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to talk about high school football. I've been working in high school football, doing commentating, and this year producing games with Eli Savoy for Zach's trying to tell me something. You don't have to be. Tell me about it.
We got John Sounder.
Oh, I got a sounder. I forgot. See, this is why you're a great producer, Zach, is because I totally missed it. We have a sound for John, so I don't want to introduce him yet. We're about to talk to John Varlas. Go, Zach.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
I missed out on hearing Jimi Hendrix. That's excellent stuff there. Good call by Zach. Thank you, Zach. So a lot of games to talk about. Some that happened yesterday. John and I were just talking about it. A lot more happening tonight, too. Kind of fall break week. So a little bit of a lull for some teams. Some teams going into fall break wanting to get a head start on it. So a little bit of a weird week here. But before we get into that, first of all, John, thank you for coming in and talking to me this morning. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Always, man. Glad to do it. Glad to see you, J-Mo. And to answer your question from earlier, the celebrity I look like, so I'm gonna go with Steve McQueen.
Great one.
Not the African American film, not the is he American? No, I think he's British, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Not the British film director, the black guy, but the 1960s actor from Bullet. So do you see the resemblance?
Absolutely. I mean, it's uncanny.
I know
the
it's
resemblance.
uncanny.
That's excellent.
And favorite Halloween movie, we're going to go with It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Are you familiar with that?
Absolutely. A great one there. And excellent.
You blockhead. I missed Trick or Treat sitting in a pumpkin patch with you, you blockhead.
A classic. It'll be on TV coming up here pretty soon. It's always on TV at this time of year. It's a classic, so you got to watch that too.
No, I wanted to address that with you. But no, thank you guys for having me. It's fun to be with you guys today. And it's kind of a weird week because, like you said, fall break starts for a lot of the public schools. Well, I think all the public schools, and a lot of people are like, hey, let's get an early jump on fall break. And, so a lot of games were moved to Thursday for that purpose. So it was really busy last night.
And some marquee ones as well. So, but before I get into that, too, I want to talk to you more generally about high school football a little bit, because it's one thing that's irked me a little bit for the last, 3 years watching these high school games, too. Is there's a lot, and I also want to preface this by saying that this is probably my oldest sensibility in the world, is that when I was in high school, I went to St. George's, and the head coach at that time was Ken Netherland. So a very different world in terms of what types of offenses were being run. There is a lot of shotgun going on today, too. And this is not a criticism of, any coach or anything like that, but it's just, I'm watching college football even, and, you look at the University of Tennessee, and the stat that I keep hearing is that Joe Milton has thrown 54% of his passes behind the line of scrimmage. So even some SEC, the biggest conference in college football, is having trouble finding quarterbacks that can sling the ball around. And I was watching a game last week, and the most efficient drive of the game for the team that I was watching was when they went under center, went to the wishbone, or just playing an I formation under center, and just ran the ball all the way down the field, and their opponent was the most efficient drive they had all game. Why are teams and coaches so, I don't want to say scared, but just resistant to go into more of a run style, pounded up the gut offense, do you think?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I think it, kind of probably like you see in the NBA and the NFL and, other leagues, it's a bit of a kind of a copycat mindset. So some teams will have success, with you're right. I mean, there's a lot of the RPO stuff in high school. You see that nowadays, and without naming names necessarily and singling out folks, because everybody's doing the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. There's a lot of teams out there that I don't think have the personnel to run it effectively, and you see, and you kind of see that in the results. I really think. JMO, in high school, you would have success a lot of times just by simply lining up and running the ball. You take a team like Covington, for example. They're still running the wing T. They're complicated with their handoffs and their shifts, and their blocking schemes are very complicated. But they coach that offense up, from the elementary level, through middle school all the way up to the high school. So the kids in that town, come up playing in that offense, and they're equipped to do it. And, it's very effective. I mean, they're perennially one of the best teams in the state in their classification, simply because they're doing something that nobody else is doing them. And then when you come to play, Covington, it's like, okay, well, we've played, 5 RPO teams this week, and now we got Covington coming in here with this wing T. How do we replicate that in practice? How do we stop that? It's an advantage that they have, and you're right, it's an advantage I wish more teams would have. It's, personnel-wise, you don't have a lot of size up front, a lot of these schools. So it's possibly easier to block with some of these running schemes. So yeah, you're right. There's a lot of advantages to it, and why people don't do it. I just think it's like I said, there's just a lot of the copycat element to it, and people trying to go with what's trendy and what's cool. Like everybody else is doing these days.
And it could be a positive thing too. Like, this is what might get these kids more recognition with college coaches wanting to come down and see something that's similar to what they do. But you made a good point in there that I didn't even consider, the advantage of it's different nowadays than what everybody else is running too. But also with the development, that's something that, maybe throwing the ball for a certain amount of yards or whatever. Like, I think as a basketball coach, when I think about middle school basketball versus like as you're developing up, you can't run a lot of the complicated stuff. It's a lot of like I think Briarcrest does an excellent job of developing kids in middle school in terms of they call it Bearcat, where they're cut to the basket, it's just pass and cut offense. But that's something you can develop from a young age, and once they finally have the wherewithal to understand what they're doing, it's already ingrained in them. I think running something like that in football is a very similar idea. Is that's something that middle school kids can understand from the first day they get to 6th grade or 7th grade or whenever their middle school experience starts. That, like you said, Covington does a good job of developing through that. I think there's a lot of arguments for doing it like that too.
There is. I mean, and like I said, I think probably the best argument for doing it is nobody else is doing it.
That's right.
I mean, you're just giving yourself an advantage. Trying to replicate that in practice, it's just very hard to do. So yeah, something like Covington and some of these other schools in other parts of the state, they run the same offense. It comes up through the system. The kids get used to it. By the time they get to the high school level, they've already been doing it, 4 or 5 years. Everybody knows their role. They know what to do, and they're pretty proficient at it. And I think you see a lot of teams have success with that. Now, having said that, I think here lately in the last few years in Shelby County, we're starting to finally see some really good quarterback development. I think, Shelby County in the past, and when I say in the past, I'm talking, maybe 15, 20 years ago, they were a little slow to embrace kind of the 7-on-7 mindset and get these kids out to camps in the summer and things like that. But, they've since really caught up to that. And I think in terms of like skill guys and, particularly quarterbacks, I think we're really starting to see some good development in Shelby County too. So it's catching up for sure.
That's a good argument on the other side as well too, is that you're not going to be able to develop those skills unless you just got to jump into the pool kind of. You got to swim or sink kind of thing, and you'll eventually learn that. So two really good. I thought it was an interesting idea too, especially seeing that as well.
No, it's a great conversation, and you raise a good point. I mean, if I was a high school, and a lot of it is based on the personnel you have to,
sure,
obviously, but no, I've been to games where you've got quarterbacks running an RPO offense, and like you said, coaches lining up in the shotgun, and they simply don't have the personnel to do it. Maybe the quarterback is not accurate, or maybe the line is not good enough to provide ample pass protection. Mm-hmm. You gotta stay on your block longer with a passing offense as opposed to a running offense. There's just lots of things to consider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen to your personnel seems like a good one there. All right, let's get to the games. Starting with the games last night, I got two marquee ones to talk about, and there's some other good ones as well. So anything that I don't touch on, feel free to jump in with whatever it is. But the first one I thought about was Collierville and Cordova last night. Collierville, a really good football team the past couple of years into this year. They had a big game with Cordova last night. They won pretty big last night against Cordova, didn't they?
Yeah, that's a region game. So that Region 8-6A is, as I've been saying all year, and everybody knows, it's arguably the toughest region in the state. Period. You can make a case for maybe one or two others, but that region is so difficult. And a big win for Collierville last night. They got their offense rolling against Cordova. Aiden Glover threw a couple of touchdown passes. Joakim Dotson caught one, and he ran for one. Dotson is the receiver who has multiple Power 5 offers. He's a junior, but he's already got multiple Power 5 offers. Of course, Glover, who's going to play at Missouri next year, already committed. So yeah, good win for Collierville. They're 6-2 overall, but more importantly, they've only lost once in the region, and keeping pace with Germantown, who's leading the region, and Houston, which won last night. They've only lost once in the region. So we're getting towards the end of this regular season here, and the playoff positioning in that regioning with Germantown, with Bartlett, with Houston, with Collierville, with possibly Whitehaven. It's going to be so interesting because you only get, only the top 4 qualify. So you got those teams jockeying for seeding and positioning, and you want to get in that top 4 to make the playoffs, but then beyond that, you'd love to get in that top 2 so you can have a home playoff game to open.
Very important to be playing in front of your fans like that, especially when you get down the stretch there. You may be less likely to get that home game and stuff like that.
Well, and for those guys too, in the first round, you're going to travel to Region 7, which is kind of the Clarksville, kind of mid-state-ish kind of area. So if you can avoid that in the first round, you definitely want to. It's certainly to your advantage to do so.
You mentioned Dotson, Power 5 offers. Any relation? There's a Dotson that went to Collierville that plays basketball at Rhodes. Is that his brother, perhaps? I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I didn't know that. No, Joakim Dotson is Damian Dotson's son. You know, Damian Dotson, who played for Westwood, and he played for, I messed this up last week. I can't remember if Damian played for Memphis State or if it was already switched to the University of Memphis at that time. But anyway, Damian was a record-setting receiver for Westwood, probably 30 or so years ago, and Joakim is his son. Very, very talented player. I mean, he's got his kind of the pick of the litter of schools after him. He's got some really good ones on his list.
Really good genes there.
Terrific. He's having a terrific junior season too.
Hey, John. Quick question for you. Do I need to start printing out championship T-shirts for my boys from the 38125?
Oh man, I tell you what, Zach, they got a strong T-shirt game over there as it is. I mean, you go to those Southwind games, they've got a nice selection of T-shirts. Southwind is really good. They moved to 8-0 last night. Zach, as I'm sure you know, this extends the best start in school history. I mean, they've never had a start as good as 8-0, and they're just rolling along, man. And we talked, J-Mo, about quarterbacks. They've got, some people will tell you that Kelvin Perkins is the best quarterback in the city. I'm hesitant to make bold pronouncements like that, but this kid is really good, and he's only a sophomore, So, you think about this coming into last night's game. Through 7 games, he had thrown for 24 touchdowns, completing almost 66% of his passes, and he's run for 8 more touchdowns. I don't have the stats from last night, but they scored 44 points, so I would have to assume he had a large hand in that. This is the kind of the time of year where you start looking at potential Mr. Football candidates, potential All-State candidates, and as a sophomore quarterback, they don't come any better in Tennessee than Kelvin Perkins. I mean, he's really, really good. And talking about quarterback development, he's got a chance if he keeps growing, progressing, maybe get a little bigger and stronger to be able to write his ticket when signing day comes around. He's really, really good.
And you guys said they're undefeated as well?
8-0. There's 3 undefeated teams left in our area after last night. Southwind is 8-0. The Mitchell Tigers in Class 2A are 8-0. They beat Hillcrest last night, and Germantown is 7-0. They can go to 8-0 tonight if they take care of business at home tonight against a very good Bartlett team.
Well, that's I didn't know how to rank the games I was most excited about, but I put a star next to the Germantown Bartlett game to talk about the next segment.
Because that's right now is the game of the week.
Well, the game of the week is where I am.
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Whatever John Varlas is live tweeting, that's the game of the week as far as we're concerned.
I'm just kidding. No, but I think that is the best matchup on paper, at least tonight. It's at Germantown. And, man, those guys at Germantown, J-Mo and Zach, are so much fun to watch. I mean, both sides of the ball. I mean, on offense, they've got playmakers, coming out of their ears, B.J. Blake at running back is a terrific playmaker. Cordero Walker, the quarterback, he can beat you running and passing. He's really good. Jamarian Morrow, who's sort of an athlete type. He's another junior with multiple Power 5 offers. I mean, everybody from Alabama on down is interested in this kid. I mean, he's really, really good. And then and they've got some receivers, some young receivers that are starting to emerge. You take all that on offense, and then you couple that with a defense that's got, two college commits on the front line already. So Daniel Anderson is committed to North Carolina at one defensive end.
Wow.
DJ Allen is committed to Central Florida on the other end. And then in between them, you got a couple of 300-pound monster defensive tackles who just, get in there and plug it up. And, they're really good too. Chris McBee and Othevius Bass, those guys are really good too. So, I mean, just a really great, well-rounded team there at Germantown. And having said all that, I mean, Bartlett is really, really strong as well. They're coming off a loss last week to Houston. I know they had several starters who on offense who were out, and that kind of limited what they could do. But, Jaron Johnson is the leading rusher in our area. Jade Nealon's having a terrific year at receiver, and they've got some dudes on defense as well. David Milburn, the linebacker, has a Vanderbilt offer.
Wow.
Lance Taylor, the other linebacker, has multiple Power 5 offers. Devin Rutherford in the secondary is a 2-time All-State player. So I mean, there's just going to be big-time talent all over the field tonight at Germantown. I mean, and what like we said, with a bit of a lighter schedule tonight, maybe your team is not playing tonight for whatever reason. Maybe they played last night. Maybe they're on break. If you're a private school fan, if you haven't seen Germantown and Bartlett play, I would urge you to, make your way out to Germantown tonight and check it out, because it should be a good game with lots of high-level high school players on the field.
That's one I want to go watch tonight for sure. Speaking of Ken Netherland Field over there.
Oh.
And it's truly, I mean, the grass is a little bit taller at Germantown always. That's a running back's dream to play, to run the football on that field. So that'll be an exciting one for sure. 2 more games I want to talk about from last night, too. And like I said, I went to St. George's, so I got a little bit of a private school flair here. So I got 2 private school games. We were talking before we went on air here. FACS with a big win last night. They've only lost 1 game this year. Is that right? So they're a really powerful team.
They are. And that one came in their previous game. They played Jackson Christian, which is the number 1 team in the state in that classification.
Wow.
And Jackson Christian, they beat ECS. They beat FACS, but yeah, beyond that, FACS hasn't been, has been unscathed, and they beat Westwood last night, got back on track. And this is interesting, J-Mo. So talking to the coach last night after the game, Mitch McDaniel, his brother Thomas McDaniel is the coach at Christian Brothers. So I think Mitch is the younger brother, and he's the coach at FACS. And he said, man, I went into the locker room at halftime, and I lit my guys up, and they're ahead 34-0 at halftime, right? To this neutral observer, they played really well in the first half, but he goes, no, I went in there at halftime and lit my guys up, because the standard is different here at FACS. In the past, we were just happy to, win a few games, maybe sneak in the playoffs if all goes well. Everybody's going to celebrate that. That's not how it is anymore. The standard is changing over there, and it's just different. It's not, they're not satisfied with merely winning games. They have bigger goals to fry over, bigger fish to fry over there, bigger goals, and it's a totally different mindset. And it's really cool to see the way that Coach McDaniel and his guys are kind of changing the culture over there with that program. And, talking of Mr. Football candidates, they got a kid over there named Brian Shields, who is just outstanding. I mean, this guy's averaging probably well over, my math is not my strong suit, but he's averaging probably well over 15 yards per carry, even at this late stage of the season. He's got 25 touchdowns. He had 5 more last night. Kid is really incredible and really fast. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of Calvin Austin, honestly.
Wow.
Maybe not as fast, but he's not big. He's playing for a smaller private school, and so the college interest maybe isn't quite there yet, like it could be. But I think Brian's got a chance to do some special things going forward, and beyond high school too, if somebody gives him a chance at the next level.
I love that mentality too, going in there. I mean, not always lighting the kids up, but truly, you're competing against yourself at a certain point in the season. You want to make sure you're playing your best football when it matters the most. And so even if you're up 34-0, you have things to correct. We need to correct them now so we can move forward.
And that's it. It's like, hey guys, all right, great, but look, we missed this tackle.
Right.
We had this receiver open on this play. We missed him. We had a couple of stupid penalties. Yeah, it's the standard is doing things right, the right way at the right time, and that doesn't change regardless of whether you're ahead 34-0 or behind 34-0. The standard is the standard, and that's what Coach McDaniel wants to see. And really kudos to him and his staff. They're changing the culture over there, and they've got a really good small private school team, no doubt about it.
Awesome. One more game from last night before we take a break and preview the games coming up tonight is Briarcrest with a big win over Wooddale, coming off of a tough loss last week at Christian. Really good football game too, but a tough loss last week. They went out and scored 56 on Wooddale. A nice bounce back game from them, it seems like.
Really nice bounce back win. I think ultimately Coach Massey, Phil Massey, who came in from the Chattanooga area where he had a legendary career over there. I really think ultimately he's going to get the job done at Briarcrest and bring some long-awaited and much desired success to that program. And but it's baby steps. This year maybe the talent isn't quite where they want it to be or need it to be. But games like this against Wooddale, it's a team you should beat, and they went out there and beat them. They went out there and took care of business, handled things well, and yeah, it's a good response after such a frustrating loss to Christian Brothers last week, where the brothers kicked a walk-off field goal and won the game.
That was exciting.
Yeah, great game. It sounded like a great game. It really did.
It was really exciting.
They ran the old Philly special, right, to get in position
for 30 yards down the field. Unbelievable. I mean, dropped it in the bucket. The backup quarterback. Unbelievable play. The second time they've run the Philly special this year as well.
No, they love that. I think 2 years ago.
Now we're giving away their secrets, I'm afraid.
Well, no, everybody's seen it, but
right.
no, I think a couple of years ago they played Germantown in the season opener, and I can't remember if it was at the end of regulation or perhaps it was overtime. But Germantown was ahead, and Christian Brothers got down to the goal, and they ran the Philly special on Germantown and ended up winning that game a couple of years ago. I believe it was an overtime touchdown. But no, they've got that play in their bag for sure. So
that's unbelievable stuff, but a good bounce back win for Briarcrest nonetheless. All right, we've got to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to preview tonight's game. There's some exciting ones that you have a chance to go watch tonight. More with John Varlas back after this.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
It didn't take them long. Genesis Diamonds is now the undisputed value leader here in Memphis. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and people who have gone into Genesis Diamonds with a budget have often left spending less than they thought they would, and they end up with a better diamond, a bigger diamond, and a nicer ring. I'm telling you, Genesis has disrupted the old school jewelry store scene right here in Memphis. It starts with value. Genesis is a direct diamond importer where they get their diamonds from the world's best diamond cutters with no middleman. I call it extreme value. Genesis is also the authorized retailer for all the top bridal designers, so they have the rings on every woman's wish list. They back up every purchase with a 100% free lifetime warranty. That means no charge ever for things like sizing or cleaning. All this in a fun, relaxed environment with no commission salespeople, no pressure of any kind, and no retail pricing games. We've needed a place like this for years here in Memphis, and now Genesis is here. It's quite a change from other jewelry stores with traditional prices, limited selection, and insane markups. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended in Poplar Commons.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Wow, I feel good. Shopping at Drive Max. Drive Max. Drive Max. You get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
No Greg and Eli today. It's Zach Boyd and I, but we had the pleasure to talk to John Varlas, who joins them every Friday at this time for the last two segments of the first hour. And we've been talking high school football, some exciting games last night, and we got even more tonight. We previewed this game a little bit in the last segment, but I want to talk about it again because it's that marquee of a game. Bartlett's 5-2. They're going up against undefeated Germantown. Hadn't lost a game this year. I mentioned Sonny Moore power rankings earlier. I love these. His metrics have Germantown favored by 5.5 points at home tonight. What a spread on this game. What more can you tell us about this game?
Well, I'll tell you, if you're betting on high school football, you are the most degenerate of degenerate gamblers, and please stay away from.
There's an 800 number you can call.
Please stay away from me if you're going to bet high school football. Not that it doesn't happen. I'm sure there's a lot of parking lot wagers out there, honestly. But no, I think I think it's gonna be real interesting to me, J-Mo, to see how Bartlett bounces back. I mentioned they struggled last week against Houston. They came into that Houston game as the number one offense in our area. They were averaging right at 375 yards per game on offense. They got probably roughly 2/3 of that against Houston. A really great defensive effort by Houston, and Bartlett was just kind of out of sync the whole game too, so they certainly contributed to that. So hopefully, this week in practice they've been able to correct some of those things. If they can, put drives together and keep that explosive Germantown offense off the field, certainly they have a chance. But I think, I think Germantown's gonna turn the dogs loose. I think they're going to try to pressure the quarterback with the that front four that I told you about.
Sounds like they had the horses to do so as well.
God, they're so good. And and even the guys at Germantown that probably aren't going to play college football or major college football, they've just got so many good just football players, just 20 guys on the roster that you can throw out there and say, yeah, he's going to make a play. I can count on him to make a play. It's just a really, really good football team. And, and same for Bartlett too. I mean, Chris Smith is first year over there, taking over from Lance Tucker, who moved back to Alabama. Coach Tucker got the Bartlett program back on its feet and in really good shape. And I think Coach Smith is only going to amplify that. He likes to play really, really fast, like what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I think in time, once his system gets, kind of ingrained over there at Bartlett, I think they're going to be a force as well. Great facilities at Bartlett. It's a huge school in terms of enrollment. So, having kids and bodies should never be a problem. And, Bartlett's certainly going to be a force to contend with going forward here.
I apologize so much. You reminded me when you were talking about Bartlett's game last week against Houston. I meant to ask you about that game as well. So I'm jumping all over the place now.
No worries.
That was a game last night as well. Arlington against Houston. Arlington came in 2-5, tough record. A big school like Arlington too. That's surprising a little bit. Houston 5-2 though, been playing good football. How did that game go?
Yeah, well, Houston is a really interesting team, J-Mo, because they are 5-2, but they're 3 points away from being undefeated at this point. So they lost to South Benola by 2 points.
One of the best teams in Mississippi.
There you go. And they lost to Germantown by 1 point on a blocked extra point. So Houston had gone down late and scored and tied or come within 1 point. It was 14-13. They trot their kicker out there who's a super reliable kicker, and they end up, Germantown blocks the extra point, and that's the difference in the game there. So Houston could very easily be undefeated. I mean, they've got a dynamic offense, and what's interesting last night, J-Mo, is they played without their quarterback, Chandler Day, who got banged up against Barlow last week. So he didn't play last night. But they still put up 48 points. Wow. They just shows the caliber of offensive playmakers they have. And I think based on my Twitter feed, it looks like they got really creative last night too. So that we had an offensive lineman touchdown too, a big man touchdown at one point. They blocked a punt. They got the ball on the Arlington 4-yard line or 3-yard line or whatever. Next thing I know, one of the offensive linemen's punching it in. So, super creative offense out there at Houston, and they got the job done, and they're going into the break, 6-2, and really, really looking good in that region as well.
Report him as eligible and let him go out there and catch a touchdown pass. That's all you need.
I love a big man touchdown.
Love it. That's the best kind of thing. I want to talk about this game coming up tonight as well. Soft spot in my heart. I broadcasted Munford games 2 years prior to this one. I don't do it anymore, but Jordan Bell's a quarterback that I got to see grow up, and he's in his last year out there now, a really good player. They're 6-1 at home tonight playing against Brighton. That's a region game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about Munford and Jordan Bell and how good that team, Coach Calhoun's team, has been?
They're awesome. I mean, they stubbed their toe against Zach's mighty Southwind Jaguars.
They're mighty. No problem there.
Hey man, you should have won the game. That's all that matters. You should have won the game.
And looking at it, I mean, they lost that game 42-0, but I mean, clearly that's an aberration. I mean, they just did not play well that night, and Southwind really did. And but beyond that, Munford's been awesome, and they've got a chance to do some special things going forward. Like you say, J-Mo, Jordan Bell is one of our best quarterbacks. Isaiah Cobbs is a terrific playmaker at receiver. They brought in a kid named Colin Collier this year, a transfer from Briarcrest, I believe, who's impacted their offense. They've got some really good defensive players as well. That's a not only a region game like you said, but that's also kind of a county neighborhood rivalry out there tonight. So a big game between Munford and Brighton tonight. And Munford is good. That game against Southwind was definitely an aberration.
Well, I got two more I want to ask you about here. And this one, I don't really know much about either of these schools, but it just kind of jumped off the page for me just in terms of a matchup. I've heard a lot of people talk about Whitehaven. Craigmont plays Whitehaven tonight. Both teams 4-3. What can you tell us about this game?
Well, Craigmont has the reigning, well, not reigning, it just happened yesterday, the Daily Memphian Player of the Week. So we do a fan vote every week, and their quarterback, Elijah Brinson, won the fan vote. So last week, Elijah, who's a junior, was 20 of 24 passing for 285 yards and 5 touchdowns against Ridgeway. So super accurate, got a lot of yards and put up the numbers, and he won the fan vote for Player of the Week. So he's going to be a handful for Whitehaven. I mean, they've got Elijah, they've got a receiver named Trey. What's Trey's last name? Trey Henry. That's really good as well. Another receiver. His first name is Josh, and I apologize, Josh. I've forgotten your last name, but Josh is really good too. And that's going to be a fun. That's a non-region game, so obviously that doesn't affect the playoff standings. But that should be a fun one. Whitehaven is Whitehaven. They're not maybe quite up to the level of where they were a few years ago when they were a state championship contender. But they still got Rodney Salisbury on the sideline. They still got dudes. They still got playmakers. They still got dudes on defense. So that's going to be a really good game, I think.
Well, that should be really exciting. Like you said, I didn't even realize how proficient Craigmont was, but reigning Player of the Week, I guess. Well, that's all you need.
Oh, they got the vote out too. That's the thing. I mean, it's strictly a vote for us. So I put out some candidates on Monday. We asked people to vote, and Elijah Brinson was the winner. So hats off to him.
And my last one here, again, soft spot in my heart. I got to ask about the St. George's game, but unfortunately not because of them. 1-6, tough year right now, but they're playing North Point. That's 5-2, and I've heard North Point's a really good football team this year.
They are a good football team, and that actually was one of the games that was moved to last night. And
I didn't even realize.
Well, it's fine. Unfortunately, the Griffins Lost again. North Point, oh God, I think it was 49-13 or 56-13. It wasn't close. North Point is, like you say, J-Mo, a very good football team. Their quarterback, Jack Patterson, is committed to Central Arkansas. He's an all-state level quarterback in the middle private school classification, really good. They've got a couple of running backs that are good as well coached. So yeah, a tough year for St. George's, and that was one that was moved, and so we can't make any wagers on that.
Yeah, we can't. I can't wait. It was minus 33.5 for North Point in that game, so that was the line I had for that one. But nonetheless, hopefully no one went out and wagered on the game.
Unfortunately for the Griffins, I think North Point covered
the spread there, too.
John, before you leave, quick rapid fire here. We got a couple texts on the text line here.
Yeah.
John from Covington asks about his Covington team and said he seemed to find some offense with that.
They sure have. I mean, Skyland Smith is running the ball well, talking about potential Mr. Football candidates. He's certainly one of them in 3A, and I think who are they? Does it say who their plans are?
Liberty Tech.
Magnet. Yeah, they're from Jackson. They haven't won a game, Liberty Tech, so I expect Covington to put up some more big numbers in this one and keep rolling.
And then Mario says, what about his Sheffield Knights, 6 in a row?
Yeah, Mario, your Knights won last night, and Ray Darius Jackson had a terrific game. The kid they call Rah Rah, everybody was going rah, rah, rah last night, so he scored 5 touchdowns last night. He scored in every way possible. He threw a touchdown pass, he ran for one, he caught one, and he scored on a pick 6. So tremendous player. Ray Darius Jackson, Antonio Bell had a great game. And you're right, Sheffield has won 6 in a row after an 0-2 start. They're undefeated on the region, and they're right on track for repeating as region champions.
Well, fall break week this week, some exciting games and more teams on bye this week, so it should be an exciting week of high school football. I can't urge you enough. If one of these games piqued your interest, go out and watch some high school football. It's a really fun environment to go watch. Thanks, John, for joining us.
Always, buddy. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to keep up with your rapier wit this morning.
No.
But I feel proud that I was able to go toe-to-toe with you, J-Mo.
Very much so. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. Back after this.
For all your roofing and home repair needs, it's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Give my man Brandon McCullough a call at 901-438-5084. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing with many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof fixed. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers out there, along with homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They are licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. If you need work around the home, they can do that as well. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. If you need shingles installed, Brandon is a certified shingle installer. This is a locally owned and operated company. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, quality work at a very reasonable price. Give Brandon a call at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask,
Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Marks Bensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to clear up this crash that's causing a lot of rubbernecking on 240 eastbound at Poplar. In the process of moving that stolen car a few minutes ago, 40 east at Danny Thomas. It's building pretty good now through South Haven on 55, going northbound. All that traffic flow coming up from DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. 7525 Highway 64. Go by and see them this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The second hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Looking for that special diamond ring, that special wedding ring, or personally designed wedding set? You need to head over to James Gaddis Jewelers. They are full-service jewelers with two bench jewelers ready to serve you. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition, so they make sure there's a price point to suit everyone's budget. Perhaps you're looking for that special watch, custom-made jewelry of all types, gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, pendants. So many choices at James Gaddis Jewelers, plus the romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. Layaway and financing is available. You want to sell your gold, silver, and diamonds? James Gaddis will give you a great price on that. Plus, if you need something appraised, James is a certified appraiser. Just head over to James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue, your family's jeweler.
Welcome back to, I guess I don't have to welcome you back because Greg just did, but we're here at Sports 56 Mornings. It's Zach Boyd and me, Jay Morgan. We're doing our best to fill in for Eli and Greg that are not here today. We're doing so from the Family Leisure Studios. I feel like I need to say that. They're having the world's biggest spa sale where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. All right, crossing my T's and dotting my... Oh, it's 8:10. It's Friday, October 6th. Weather still in the 60s, Zach, in the 70s or so? What do you think? 70s, 80s? I'm going to say 60s, let's say.
We're still in the 60s.
Okay,
right now
nice.
We're sitting at 63. The high is supposed to be close to 80 degrees.
Good deal. So the time, temperature, date, and I told you where I am. Excellent. Now we have stuff to talk about here in terms of the National Basketball Association. So preseason started yesterday. Kind of a crazy game. I want to start here, and then I want to talk more generally about the NBA offseason first. I watched this game yesterday in the NBA. It was kind of a lull of a game in terms of the deficit. Steve Harvey was there, though. That was exciting to see Steve Harvey before the game. One of my favorite comedians and celebrities. Love Steve Harvey. The Mavs were out there getting smacked. And I despised how seriously Karl Anthony Towns took that game. I despised it, Zach, because this guy is notably only in things for himself. There's great stories that's documented everywhere by all types of insiders that Karl Anthony Towns, the first thing he does when he walks off the court is goes to get a stat sheet. He wants to see, am I eating? What do my stats look like? So he can improve upon them when he goes back out there, which is generally not what great players concern themselves with, right? Obviously, great players want to score a lot, but that generally happens when you're playing good basketball and winning, and if you're the best player on the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think Jimmy Butler's going to the sideline checking his stat sheet every time? Like, no. You think John Morant and all these guys are checking their stat sheet when they go to the sideline? No. They might look at the stat sheet after the game, which is totally natural, but in the middle of a game, it's ridiculous. And Karl Anthony Towns, it's not that he's playing hard because Luka was playing hard at certain points and other guys were playing hard at certain points. It's not that he's playing hard. It's that he's like celebrating for the crowd's benefit to show how much he's getting buckets out there. It really irked me, Zach. Does Karl Anthony Towns irk you the same way, or you're in it for everybody?
Yeah, I don't really particularly care
Can't stand
about
this guy.
Cat like that.
So selfish.
You know, I don't know him like that.
Really?
You know, I don't know him.
I'm sure some people in Memphis like support my hate of Karl Anthony Towns because there's like a pseudo rivalry between the Grizzlies and Timberwolves after 2 years ago. Now it was the series against them, but
yeah, we in Minnesota now.
Yeah, but it's not even about that. It's not even about the series because I'm not the biggest Grizzlies fan in the world. I like the Grizzlies fine, but it's not really about that. I'm not speaking with fandom here. I just think he doesn't contribute to winning in a significant way, man. He's just selfish, and when you play selfish like that, you're inherently not playing for your teammates, and I think that shows in the way he does, way he plays.
And then also like how their roster was constructed too. Like, there's no way in the world you're gonna be a plus on the court with Cat and Gobert. Like, I get it. Like, ideally, yeah. Like having a 6'2" Rudy Gobert with a 7-foot Karl Anthony Towns. Like, it does sounds like really fun on 2K. But
and I bet Cat wanted that. He wanted to sit his butt on the perimeter a little bit more.
Right. But the thing is that offensively, they're better off having Cat at the 5, and it's not like Cat is a I wouldn't say weak, but it's not like he's struggling to play the 5. He looks fine playing the 5. I didn't understand the reasoning behind that, but yeah, I really don't care about the Timberwolves like that, to be honest with you.
Well, you took one guy that was having trouble guarding the 5 and brought in another guy, even though he's Defensive Player of the Year, also can't guard his position.
Right.
So now we just have two guys playing the 4 and 5 at all times, neither one of which can guard any position. So you're right. I don't know what's going on there. My favorite player on their team, though, my favorite center on their team, Naz Reid. This guy is legitimate. If you haven't had a chance to see him play yet, he's going into he was drafted in 2019. So what is this, his fifth year, something like that? Naz Reid is electric. He came onto the scene, burst onto the scene last year, played his best season yet, averaged 11.5 points a game, 5 rebounds. You got to watch this guy play. He can stretch the floor. For my money, if I'm picking one of those 3 centers on the team, I'm taking Naz Reid 10 times out of 10. And then again on Sunday. I know that's not the right, I'm conflicting analysis there, but nonetheless, this Naz Reid guy, a serious player.
And that's another thing too. They paid for their the backup center.
Yeah, but they needed to pay him.
Rudy Gobert is getting $41 million this year. Cat is getting 36, and then you give don't get me wrong, Naz Reid deserved his contract.
No
don't
kidding.
Get me. I am not. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve.
No,
his
your
money.
point is well made though. You got 2 centers already. What are you and you're paying them a star player money, and now you're gonna pay this third guy as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's getting like $13 million right now,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there's like other spots on his roster that you gotta fill in.
That's a good contract in the modern NBA though too. $13 million though, isn't it? I mean that's a good deal. Like
Yeah,
what
it
did my man for the Spurs get just yesterday or whatever?
Devin Vassell.
Yeah, he got a huge contract. It was something like 120. I don't know what the year was worth, but it was a lot of money he got as well. So that just might be the modern contract. And furthermore, Naz Reid, 6'9", too, and can guard multiple positions. He guards centers better than both those guys we're talking about, and can also guard the 4 and play the 4 and 5 on offense. He's so much more versatile than these other guys. What are you paying these other guys? But I guess you get him in a steal like that, it's a pretty good deal. And he's only like 23, 24 years old, so a really good player there too.
Yeah.
But enough about the first preseason game of the year. They'll play again on Saturday too, as well as the Lakers play somebody on Saturday. Who do the Lakers play? The Warriors. Lakers and Warriors play Saturday as well, and then you get the second Abu Dhabi game on Saturday, so that'll be 11 o'clock, and then the Lakers play at 7 at night. And I don't think LeBron is going to play in that game I saw this morning. I think he's going to sit it out, but I don't think we were really surprised by that. The next thing I want to talk about is more generally in the offseason, because I haven't really had a chance to talk about this with anybody yet, and I think it's really interesting what's going on here with the whole Damian Lillard trade. I think a lot of people are kind of seeing it on face value, but this has been something that we've been able to follow all offseason with conflicting reports coming out of Miami versus what Woj is saying, and I don't think it's unfair to say this. Woj was more of his reporting was coming from the sourcing of inside the front office in Portland, and obviously the sourcing in Miami was coming from the front office in Miami. So that's where you get the conflicting reports. 2 different front offices felt differently about the way the trade was going. Do you think, Zach, kind of hard-one question for you here, do you think it's justified to be critical of Pat Riley for not being able to land Damian Lillard to make this team better?
Yes.
Really? Why?
Yes, because they've whiffed on the last few superstars that were available.
But going to the finals though, twice.
Yeah, but that was because it was a back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Right? So that's because the Heat benefited off of a lot of key injuries in the East. So I think Joel was hurt. Giannis was hurt, I think, at one point.
Beating
so
the
it's like
Bucks.
there are key injuries, and even KD and Kyrie and James Harden, that whole experiment didn't work. Like there have been moments where the Heat have capitalized on a lot of teams' mistakes, and then on top of that, the Heat really caught lightning in a bottle at the right time of the year. Like they couldn't miss from 3. Like every game in the playoffs this last year for the Heat, it was like, they're going like 60% from the field, 60% from 3, 70% from 3.
Duncan Robinson playing his best basketball
all
of the
those
season
guys
in
were
the
on
playoffs.
a heater.
Mm-hmm. No kidding.
Yeah.
Making everything. That's right. Yeah, they really were. Duncan Robinson playing his best basketball of the year. Tyler Hero was playing pretty well. Tyler Hero didn't.
No, Tyler Hero didn't play,
playoffs.
but he was on his way back.
Yeah, they were thinking maybe he could play by the end there. But you're right, they were hitting a lot of jump shots and stuff like that too. And Kyle Lowry had a big game at one point in the playoffs too. See, I kind of disagree with you though. I just don't think they set a price for what they thought Damian Lillard should be worth. They challenged the Trailblazers, saying that you're not going to be able to find a deal this good, because reportedly they were offering Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and picks. And I've also heard Jovic's name thrown in there too. But what I know for sure is, based on the reporting, I can know, at least based on the reporting, knows for sure, is that Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and picks were included in that deal. And that's certainly not better than the deal they got from the Bucks. Even though they end up getting players from the Celtics, which I think everybody, including the Heat, because this is being reported, the Heat were extremely surprised the Celtics gave up what they did for Drew Holiday. They essentially gave up for Drew Holiday like they were getting the Drew Holiday fresh off of the bubble performance with the Pelicans, instead of the Drew Holiday that we saw in the playoffs last year, where he was getting cooked night in and night out, a shell of himself. I mean, this is not the Drew Holiday that was even 2-3 years ago at this point. He was awful, to the point Jimmy Butler is running down the court saying, "This bum can't guard me." And he was right. He couldn't. He was terrible in the playoffs. Why do you think the Celtics gave up so much for him?
Because that was the asking price that the Trailblazers wanted. Now,
but then they'll give it to him, though.
Yeah, then they gave it to him, because I was kind of surprised. Because, you know, when the first reports came out about this, I was like, there's no way in the world you're giving up 2 first-round picks for Drew Holiday. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, Drew Holiday, great player. He's a really good player, really good defender.
Not
he
anymore,
can run the
though.
team if you need to.
Not anymore, though. He's the 4th best player on that team right now.
He is.
Behind Porzingis, even.
But he's not going to kill you. He's going to help you more than he's going to kill you. I will say that.
I mean, it's a good 4th best player. I will say that.
He will help you more than he will kill you.
But you give up the depth, too. Plus, Robert Williams was when he was out, that defense got a lot worse. And you're playing with, what, a 40-something-year-old Al Horford?
And that's where my issue lies with the Celtics. I understand getting Drew Holiday in, but the whole point of having Horford and Robert Williams was because you can rotate that defense a little bit
based on matchups.
You can match up a little bit better, because then you can have Horford kind of stretch it out, stretch the floor out a little bit. Now, I mean, they could play 5 out now because they got Porzingis. But the thing is, the biggest question to me for the Celtics is, can Porzingis stay healthy for 82 games?
But he looked. That's a fair point too. I will say Washington Porzingis, I call him Beard Porzingis, Beard Zingas, was a different animal. Like you mentioned, maybe playing 5 out, that scares me, because that's what they were trying to do in Dallas with the Mavs, and it just doesn't work, because you have to have, in the modern NBA, it's why Joel Embiid saying that he'll play international basketball for USA if he plays is so important, because you have to bang inside. You have to have 5s, and a skilled 5 that can bang is even more vital, because, look no further than the Grizzlies, how much their season fell off when Steven Adams got hurt. They didn't have anybody else that could bang inside, and that's why, it's not to say that Steven Adams is better than John Morant, but that's why the absence of John Morant 2 years ago now was so much less detrimental to the team's success than it was losing Steven Adams, is because the 5 is the most important position in the NBA now, and you just gave up your 5 in the Boston Celtics that led you to be the best defense in the league year in and year out. And furthermore, you lost him, you lost great depth with Malcolm Brogdon that you just went out to go get a really good bench player, 6th man of the year candidate, was playing unbelievable basketball all year, and then you lost your starting point guard too from last year, is now with the Grizzlies. Zach, the Celtics got worse. The Celtics undoubtedly got worse.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's the Heat's greatest success in all this, is they made the Celtics worse just by just by sheer beating them alone.
Yeah, but I would say the only consolation in all of this is gonna work out if the Celtics manage to get back to the finals again, is because through Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's the only thing I can say, like, as a team. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both have to be at their A game all season for them to be in at least be back in a Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals for sure. It's scary. It really does scare me in terms. I mean, you lost all this leader that you hit at Media Day, and I want to talk more about Media Day in a minute here, from a Grizzlies perspective too. But at Media Day, they're talking about how important Marcus Smart was to the team and stuff like that, and you still have Derek White, So I'm assuming Derek White and Peyton Pritchard stepped up in a big way last year as well. He looked a lot better. So there's your ones probably, because I don't think Jaylen Brown and Drew Hop, neither one of them have shown me the decision-making ability to be able to facilitate it to one consistently night in, night out. You obviously have your set plays to go to Jason Tatum all the time there. But then I'm just looking at the 5 position, and I like Porzingis. I think Beard Zingis was a lot better last year. But then Al Horford and an absence now of Robert Williams, that scares me. I think no doubt in my mind the Celtics got worse. It's sad to see that too. Talking about the Lillard perspective too, going to the Bucks, I think it's very strange. Lillard was very playing with kid gloves in terms of nowadays we see guys like James Harden and all these other superstars kind of force their way out of organizations here. You know, I mean, like James Harden has done it X amount of times now, so that's not a good defense. That's not a good example at all. But Lillard didn't want to sour the relationship with Portland. He respected the fans, and he really enjoyed his time in Portland to where he wasn't going to go in there and cause a ruckus, but he just asked politely, look, I'd really like to play in Miami. If you can make that happen, I'd like to play in Miami. And I think he afforded the front office a courtesy that they did not give back to him. He treated them with respect and kindness and asked them for something that they didn't do. And I think it comes down to complete pettiness. And I think that's just a horrible way to run your business. I disrespecting a player like that that's meant so much to you now. Maybe Lillard doesn't feel that way. Obviously, him and Giannis might be the best 1-2 tandem in the NBA now, so he might compete for a championship there. But just think about it from your personal life, too. Damian Lillard wanted to go play in Miami, South Beach, 305, and ended up in freaking Milwaukee. Back after this.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What do you get when you have a dream, a beer, and a business plan? Meddlesome Brewing. Meddlesome's classic ales and lagers capture the true Memphis spirit. Strong, tenacious, and unforgettable. Meddlesome captures true Memphis spirit as well with community events including Ska-toberfest, Saturday, October 14th, with plenty of bands and plenty of brews like Memphis Style and 201 Hopler. Meddlesome Brewing on Trinity in Cordova, just east of Shelby Farms. On tap and can packages. Meddlesome Brewing. Never settle, always metal.
Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, October 21st, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications and interviewing candidates on site. Salary starting at $54,611, increasing to $60,713 after probation. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5 Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5 Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5 Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5 Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert for the best quality air air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choates will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choates, and remember, let our family serve your family.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
For nearly 4 decades, Corky's Ribs and Barbecue has been serving up that delicious slow-smoked barbecue to Memphians and Mid-Southerners alike. You can dine in, carry out, or drive through with no contact delivery. And you can have Corky's cater any event you got coming up for as low as $8.99 per person. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Reserve your private party room right now at the Cordova or Olive Branch locations. Add a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99 when you purchase an entree like their barbecue sandwich or award-winning catfish plate. Party packs start at just $7.49 and lunch specials every single day. 4 convenient locations in the Mid-South: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It looks so much better over here on 240 East up by Poplar where we had that earlier crash. Traffic's still in pretty good shape right now up through Midtown. It's just a little bit crowded going northbound 240 up by Lamar. Still have quite a bit of traffic volume coming up from the south on 55 northbound up through South Haven. Hey, Smoky Mountain Fall Festival is underway this weekend at Ober-Gatlinburg. Get up there and check out those beautiful fall colors. Log on today to obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
A minute ago, the Commander Chuck, is it? A minute ago, he said the term rubbernecking. What is rubbernecking? Do you know what that is?
It's like traffic, like slowing down.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Rubbernecking?
That can't be right. Because there's some rubbernecking going on the interstate.
What type of rubbernecking you thinking about?
I don't know, but like I don't know what why would rubbernecking be? It has something to do with your neck. It has to have something to do with your neck, right? Rubbernecking? At least that's what I feel like. I feel like it has to be like, the first thing I thought of would be like, because it's like stop and go traffic, like you're hitting the brake and your neck is going like forward and back and it's like rubber.
Yeah, that's rubbernecking because there's an accident there and so everybody's kind of distracted. So
I'm looking it up.
It's like stop and go traffic.
Oh, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, it says rubbernecking is when you turn your head to check the accident. So people slow down and they're looking over at the accident a lot of times like that. That's what a rubberneck would be. Like you just keep turning, everyone's looking, turning, looking. Interesting.
That's how traffic slows down.
You learn something new every day, don't you? I was confused by what rubbernecking was. I was like, does that have to do with like the tires? Because the tires are made of rubber sometimes.
No,
anyway,
it's not.
Well, I'm learning something about traffic. Thank you, Commander Chuck. Shout out, C. Chuck, the commander, the commie. No, I don't want to call him that.
You don't want to call him.
Just the Washington football team. I want to talk a little bit more about the NBA. Kind of a short segment here because I've got a surprise for Zach next segment. I was thinking about doing it here. I think that's going to be 8:45 here. You're not going to want to miss that. So kind of a short segment here. Talk a little bit more about the NBA here. I want to talk about the media day stuff because there was a lot of interesting things said. The first thing, Zach, I'm crediting you. You reported this to me. I don't know if other people reported it, but you definitely reported it on Twitter. Shout out Rack City Zach on Twitter. I guess I should say Twitter X. It's like X now too, whatever. Anyway, shout out Commander Chuck. Shout out Rack
Commander
City.
Zach. I appreciate that.
Shout out Rack City Zach. Great reporting by you. You said, didn't you tweet this, that Marcus Smart said that he doesn't care at all, and he doesn't think his teammates care at all about the the in-season tournament. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that part.
I thought you tweeted that. Did I see it somewhere else? No, I just gave you credit for something someone else did. But I'm going to give you credit anyway.
Now I got to double check my tweets for a second.
But that was the first person I heard give voice to, we're not going to care about this tournament at all. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think they're going to treat it like it's a regular season game. You don't put too much pressure on yourself because it's something different. But I think I understand why Adam Silver and the NBA decided, hey, we need to make some changes to the season, bring a little bit of excitement to the season because of it. But no, I just think I think you just keep a level head, treat it like it's a regular game season, just keep it moving.
I think that's a good attitude to have. We're going to treat it like a regular season game. They're important for what they are, especially if it's. I don't know exactly how that's laid out. I forget exactly. But if it's like a divisional game, generally that you compartmentalize the schedule. Different games mean different things and stuff like that. So I think you treat it like that. But I just thought it was interesting that a player gave voice because really and truly, it's not been something you hear the players do so far. They're kind of playing company man so far. But Marcus Smart is a big enough personality in this league and has been it for long enough. He can pretty much say whatever is on his mind, and it's okay. It's very different if it's a younger player or something like that.
Now, he did say, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because I'm going off the top of my head with this. He did say, because one of the reporters asked him about rest, and so that kind of plays into the in-season tournament because you're playing a lot of games, and then you'll be traveling to Vegas if you make it to the semis. For that in-season tournament, and so I think she meant that they mentioned rest, and so he was like, no, like I think that's where you probably pulling from. It's like yeah, no, I'll get my rest, but if I'm not able to go and my body tells me not to go, then I'm not going.
As he shouldn't. And that leads me, great segue by you, because that leads me literally into my number 2 here on my list of off-season stuff, on media day stuff. Kawhi getting grilled at media days, which is just like, give me a break. It happens every year. People love hating on Kawhi. It's so dumb. People just don't understand what that guy went through to win an NBA championship in Toronto, playing on one leg, literally destroying his knee so that he could win one championship by himself. And now people are going to criticize him for not playing enough. It's ridiculous. So anyway, he's grilled at Media Day in Los Angeles. Reporters asking him, what do you think about Adam Silver's new rule with load management and stuff like that? And he says, we'll just see what happens there. Essentially, he's giving voice to this. Nobody is listed on the injury report, Zach. You know this. You cover the Grizzlies game in and game out. No one is ever listed on an injury report as rest or load management. It's always a soft tissue injury because they all have soft tissue injuries all year long. So you're not lying by saying putting them on the injury report based on that. That's just what it is. And so now you got people asking Kawhi this stuff. And fans that hate load management, all that stuff, taking a victory lap around the whole notion that, see, it is a problem. Adam Silver changed the rule. No, he didn't. It's the second straight offseason they've put a rule in place just to appease you, the fan, but it's totally bogus, and guys are going to keep resting as they should. What do you think about all that, Zach?
Now, they're going to be I think teams are going to be very strategic about this. They did put in, like you said, they did put in a rule, and they're going to be a little bit more strict about it because
the only change is like multiple guys at once, basically.
Yeah, multiple All-Stars at once. Because I know last season, like the Mavs got away with resting a lot of their guys because they were trying to get a better draft position.
Always listed as soft tissue injury though, too.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I understand because I understand from both point of views. Because again, like from the player standpoint, you want to be as healthy as possible. Stepping on the floor, and then on the fans, like they are spending like an arm and a leg just to see their favorite player, whoever their favorite player is, right. Whether it's on the home side or from the visiting side, they are spending an arm and a leg just to see them. And if they're not playing, or better yet, not even on the road trip, then it's like, well, well, shoot, like I spent a lot of money for me and my kid to be here.
Totally fair too. I think the one thing that I value in terms of questioning load management is whether or not it works, because there is percentage-wise a higher percentage of soft tissue injuries that you can argue are legitimate or illegitimate, whatever the case might be. Like I said, a lot of these injuries when it's rest are listed as soft tissue injuries, but I'm talking more about soft tissue injuries that keep you out for a more elongated period of time. Those are on the rise. So if you want to talk about the science of whether or not load management helps to keep you more healthy, I think you have a good argument there.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you about that because there has been something I have noticed where in like several years ago, before load management became a thing back in 2015, like players got hurt, but it wasn't like, oh, like they're hurt.
Because the argument would be that but it's science. You know what I mean? Like we're hypothesizing, we're testing theories here. It's not exact at this point. We're trying to figure it out together, sort of. But the idea being is that you actually can prevent injury more by doing legitimate exercise in the same way every day than you could. And that's also like a strength and conditioning thing as well, that strength and conditioning coaches around the league are really studying that closely as well. And maybe there's this whole regiment you can put a guy on when they're not playing one night. It's not total rest. They're going to get in the gym and get some work in. It's just not going to be on the court. So there's a whole argument there. But going back to people spending their hard-earned money, and I sympathize. It costs a lot of money to go to the games. You want to see player X, player Y. I sympathize. But at the same time, it's the National Basketball Association, Zach. These players are unbelievable. The idea, here's a great example. Fans of teams in whatever market you're in, they always think that their 10th, 11th man is a great, wow, I didn't know John Conchar was that good. Meanwhile, the opponent's 10th or 11th man, you automatically think that person's name, you hear their name, you're like, that guy's a bum. But the fact of the matter is this is all the National Basketball Association, and the product they put on the floor, whether or not player X or player Y is in load management, is still excellent. To that point, they're winning a lot of games where you're like, Luke is out. The Mavs are losing. They win. 50% of the time, they're winning. Same thing can be said for other teams as well. So the idea that, like, it's this garbage product because the player that I wanted to see isn't out there, I just think it's just not correct either. It's still an excellent product, and you should be grateful. And, like, the money you spent is well spent when you watch whoever they put on the court. It's basketball at the highest level in the world. That would be my argument for that.
Yeah, that's true. But, again, like, stars make the money for you.
Fair enough.
So, again, like, if everybody knows that, oh, like LeBron and Luka's not gonna play tonight, then there's no point of showing up to the arena.
But let's use that example. Kyrie, the AD. You know, like, there's great players on these teams. Austin Reeves, I'll throw in there too, is a guy that everyone's been excited to see.
He's a great player to you?
Well, I don't know if he's a great player, but that's a guy that he moved the needle a lot of ways when the playoffs started. You know what I mean?
That's the Laker curve to me.
So that's just the Lakers. Well, let's look at the Mavs then. Who am I missing on the Mavs? You got
that's
Kyrie.
It, just Luka and Kyrie.
No, I mean, there's other guys that you can. Grant Williams now on the Mavs. I mean, I'm not saying Grant Williams moves the needle necessarily, but there's a time where Kristaps Porzingis is on the Mavs as well. I mean, there's other great players on these teams that. I think about, what's my man, Jaden Hardy last year is a guy that if you watch him play, this guy is exceptional, and he is going to be a star in this league at a certain point in time, and you could have gotten to see him on the ground floor. So there's all this value that people are missing because they're just so obsessed with complaining about load management. I think it's very overstated, quite frankly.
No offense to my guy, Sean Coleman at Bluff City Media. I'm not spending money to watch Grant Williams run cardio for 40 minutes.
But it's not. But that's diminishing the what you're getting in the product, though, isn't it?
No, I'm not watching Grant Williams run up and down the floor and not taking a shot for 40 minutes. That's not what I. That's
what
not
if
what
I make
paid
it your
for.
team? You're a Grizzlies fan. What if I make it your team? Ja's out for the first 20 games of the year. You gonna go watch those games, right?
Well, yeah, because I'm getting paid to do that now.
But you would go see it anyway, wouldn't you?
No.
Just because Ja's out?
I mean, I'll go watch them. I'll go and see it. Like, I ask my family, hey, y'all want to go to the game, watch? If I'm not working, then I ask.
What if I make you a Nuggets fan, okay? And let's say the Nuggets play the Grizzlies at home twice in the span while Ja is out. You going to spend money to go watch the Grizzlies play without Ja against your Nuggets?
Yes.
Exactly.
Because it's Jokic on the other side.
Okay, well, fair enough there too. But that's, but like the argument that people aren't going to watch the team play because their star isn't coming to town. That's what it is. It's not your star they're concerned about. They're concerned about the other team's star.
This is like the biggest thing is that, like, if they miss home games, that's fine because they got 41 of them home games that they can miss or possibly miss. So if they let's for example, like Ja, he's missing 25 games. Let's say, I'm not looking at the schedule, so I'm just saying about 10 to 12 home games. He's going to miss those 10 to 12 home games. In your mind, you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, he's not going to be available for those games, but I know on the back end, there's still an additional 20-plus games that we could see Ja playing at the FedEx Forum. Now, on the flip side of things, especially if you're not playing in the Eastern Conference, you only get to see Ja one time a year. Maybe twice if you decide you want to come to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
But really, like, on the road, you only get the chance to see Ja one time a year. And so that's the problem. Because you got fans from other cities who are fans of those visiting teams. Again, I look up those playoff tickets out in LA. Me and my friend, we look up those playoff tickets like a few months ago when they played the Lakers. There's no way in the world a Memphian, unless you just got it like that, which, hey, hit your boy up. There's no way in the world that you're going to have Memphians fly out to L.A. to pay for Crypto.com arena prices.
Here's the thing I would say to that. A lot of college sports fans listening too, though, right? A lot of college sports fans. College teams are changing players left and right every year. It's a whole new roster. Basketball, football, doesn't matter. There is no carryover year to year. And those stadiums are still packed every single week, every single night because of the laundry that they're wearing. So I understand that stars are valuable in professional sports, especially the NBA, but it is not a deterrent for people to not go see these teams play. They're not just going to see Ja. It's a plus to get to see Ja. But I think it's just so overstated that load management is ruining the sport of basketball. I cannot disagree more. The sport is in a great place. These teams are deeper than ever, and an example of that is that the G League teams are deeper than ever. The Grizzlies G League team last year had great players on it all year long. These teams are so deep, 12th, 13th, 14th men on the team are playing excellent basketball, and I get what you're saying, Zach, and I think more people probably would agree with you than agree with me, but I'm pleading with people, please listen to what I'm saying here, is the entertainment value you're going to get is the highest level of basketball, whether or not the player that you think you want to see the most is in the game or not.
Yeah.
Back after this.
I agree with you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I agree with you, but people pay to see the stars.
Yeah,
they are superstars for a reason.
Back after this.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave and Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings, all at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, October 21st, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications and interviewing candidates on site. Salary starting at $54,611, increasing to $60,713 after probation. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Bring smiles to all when shopping shopping online with Dell Technologies Gift Guide. Whether it's for the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, or the streamer, you'll find the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Dell.com/gift guide makes gifting easy with a carefully curated selection of our best tech. Shop now to explore our innovative PCs like the XPS 13 laptop, powered by the latest Intel Core processors, plus this season's top accessories. Visit Dell.com/gift guide today to get a jump on your holiday gift list. That's Dell.com/gift guide.
Hey, did you know Vistaprint prints everything a small business needs? Like if a barbershop needs signage, we print outdoor signs, posters, and banners. Or if a ballet school needs merch,
1, 2,
we print tote bags, t-shirts, hoodies, hats. Or if a coffee shop needs a total refresh,
latte for Mike?
Vistaprint designs logos and prints it on menus, mugs, paper bags, anything. Because with Vistaprint, the printabilities are endless. Print it all with 25% off for new customers with code NEW25 at Vistaprint.com.
WeatherGuard, the name that stands for unmatched security in truck boxes, is now making a name for itself on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites, WeatherGuard truck boxes feature double welded seams, weather-tight seals, and high-security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day, but it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Oh, we got Brandon Lang coming up next. I'm so excited to talk to him. But before we do, I've got a surprise for Zach.
Oh, no.
You hear that, Zach? You hear that noise?
Is it money?
It's not money.
If it ain't about the money, don't call my name.
This is the bag of death. You can see it doesn't actually have this, but just for the audience, theater of the mind, it has a big skull and crossbones on it. It's the bag of death here. And what the bag of death is, Zach, sometimes it's really hard to pick these games, you know what I mean? Like, especially picking winners in college football and the NFL. It's almost impossible. I mean, it really is tough, and that's why we're having Brandon Lane come on to help us, but you and I aren't experts in picking the winners of these games. It's hard to do. I just want to watch and enjoy the game. But I feel like we owe the audience an opportunity to pick winners. So here's what we're going to do here. Okay? I've got a bag in here. It's got helmets of lots of different teams. College, pro, and some exciting random helmets as well. Oh man, it's exciting stuff in here. You can hear it jiggle in there.
Yeah, I can hear some.
You can hear it jiggle. Okay, so the reason why it's called you might be thinking, well, if we're just picking helmets out, why is it called the bag of death? Because there's a punishment that comes with a loss. Okay, and you don't get now. Here's how it works. See, you and I are in different rooms here. It's going to be tough to do this. So I'll have to pick for you, but you can decide here, okay? So here's how it works. You pick in and you pick a helmet. And if you know where this came from, you know where I'm ripping it off from, just keep quiet. Nobody else does. So anyway, the bag of death, you reach in there and you pick a helmet out. And if you decide you like this team, you're just picking the winner, okay? You're just picking the winner. You're not picking against the spread, just picking the winner. I'll tell you who they're playing this week. And if you like the team, you can keep the helmet or you can throw it back and try for a second pick. You only get 2 picks, though, so if you throw it back, the second team you pick is what you're stuck with, okay? Now, there is punishments associated with losses, and if you agree to this, Zach, you're entering a verbal contract. We all hear it, and if you lose, you get to pick one of these punishments. So it's not random. You get to pick one. And Brian Dacus is also doing this later with me during Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. So if you like this now, you got to listen then as well. So we got 3 people here. Here's the punishments you get to choose from, Zach, so you can decide whether or not you want to do this, okay? And really say yes, because if you say no, it really ruins the segment. So I'm hoping you say yes here. Here's the 4 punishments, okay? The first one, number 1, it's called the consummate professional. The consummate professional, you do a whole day's worth of work without a shirt on. That's the consummate professional, okay?
Yeah, that's...
Well, you don't have to pick that one. There's other ones, too. Here we go. The number 2 is the That's All, Folks. Can you guess what this one is?
Are we wrapping up?
Nope. The That's All, Folks is an entire day's work wearing an inflatable Porky Pig costume. See, a lot of these are visual gags to get people to watch on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all these different places you can watch as we're doing visual gags here. So the first one's the consummate professional, whole day's work without a shirt on. The second one to choose from, That's All, Folks, an entire day's work wearing an inflatable Porky Pig costume.
I'd rather Bugs Bunny, but that's...
I don't have that. I only have a Porky Pig one. So this is going whatever's in my closet. I can't spend more money. Number 3, it's called the Big League Chew. The Big League Chew is a good one. So you start with 5 pieces of gum in your mouth, and you have to add 1 piece of gum, not take any out, add 1 every segment for an entire shift. So you have to just keep adding a piece of gum until you just got this big wad of bubble gum in your mouth and you can barely speak.
So I start with 5.
And you add 1 every segment.
And I add 1 every segment.
You sure will. Mm-hmm.
So there's 8 segments in this show.
Uh-huh.
That's 15 pieces of gum.
Sure is, by the end of it. 15 pieces of gum. It's going to be hard to talk at that point, too. Don't choke to death. That's a liability there. And then the last one is the no days off. The no days off is you have to document yourself spending the night in a stadium of your choice in a sweatshirt. And when you wake up, you have to cut the sleeves off like Bill Belichick and wear it into work. That's the no days off. So there's the 4 punishments you have to choose from if you lose this week in the Bag of Death. Zach, are you ready to play?
Yeah.
That's a verbal contract. He's ready to play. All right, Zach, you're going to go first here. I'm rummaging around for you here. I got all these helmets. I want to get it closer to the microphone so you can hear me rummage around with these helmets. I'm rummaging. Oh, I love a good rummage here. I love a good rummage. Here we go. I got the first helmet. It is... Oh, this is a great one. The TYFYS helmet.
Who's that?
The TYFYS stands for Thank You for Your Service, Zach. So that means you have all of the service academies to choose from as they play this week. You can choose a service academy to win. Navy, a 5.5-point favorite. Again, not picking against the spread. I'm just giving you the spread to help you pick. Navy's a 5.5-point favorite against North Texas this week. Let me go to Independence. That's where a lot of these are, right? Independence. So Navy's a 5.5-point favorite. They're in the American Conference. Army, a 3-point favorite at home against Boston College. And I think that's probably it, right? What am I forgetting?
Navy,
what about Air Force? What are they in? They're in the Mountain West.
Yes, they're in the Mountain West.
Air Force is not playing this week. They're going to bye. Aren't they in the Mountain West? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah, Air Force is on a bye. So you have Navy or Army to choose from. Do you want to take one of those, or do you want to try again and get another helmet here?
Let me get Boston College over Air.
No, you have to pick the service academy. You can't pick the opponent.
Oh, you making this hard.
Oh, it's a tough game, Zach.
Oh, who's Navy playing again?
Navy as playing North Texas. They're 5.5-point favorites at home.
Give me Navy.
Oh, we're taking Navy. All right, Zach is locked in for Navy. I'm writing it down. Zach is locked in with the TYFYS for Navy. All right, my turn now. All right, this is funny.
I hope they triple option.
Oh, we got to get him. They're going to pass it more than ever before. That'll be a fun one there. Okay, here we go. So Zach is locked in for Navy. He's going to really enjoy watching Navy football this week. I can already tell. He sounds like he's going to enjoy it. All right, I got a helmet in hand. I got one in my hand. Ooh, it's the Green Bay Packers. Who do the Packers have this week? Let's see. I think the Packers are on a bye this week. No, the Packers are not on a bye.
Please be on a bye.
The Packers have...
Oh, they got the Raiders.
Monday Night Football against the Raiders on the road. 1-point spread. The Vegas Raiders are favored by 1 in this game. I'm throwing it back. We're going again. We're going again. I can't take the Packers on the road against the Raiders. No way. I'm Jordan Love, please. First year, no chance. The Raiders I kind of like, even though they only have 1 win. All right, here we go. Last one here. Let's see what it is. Ooh, it's the Niners! The Sunday night football game. I'm stuck with the Niners against Zach's Cowboys. He's walking out of the room. He's so disgusted with the fact that I had the San Francisco 49ers this week. I'm locked in. So, Zach is locked in with Navy, the Naval Academy, protecting our borders on seas, and I'm locked in with the San Francisco 49ers. You got to listen today to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. You can see what Bryant gets locked in with, and your reward for listening to this segment, too, is you get to experience our punishments with us. We got 4 really good ones to choose from. Hopefully you get to stick around for that. Back with Brandon Lane right after this.
Oh, come on, it's funny.
Can't do it.
Trick or treat, here's some meat.
Seriously, the Central Barbecue spot for October has been about Halloween for like 5 straight years.
Look, you've done the ladling Central Barbecue beans into their bag thing.
Yeah, I got in trouble both times. They didn't like the phrase ladling beans into their bag.
Well, what else happens in October? Hey, I tell you what, do they do any pumpkin spice stuff?
God, no.
That's good. I'm tapped for anything else for October. How about just a straight spot about how great the food is at Central Barbecue?
What, like Central Barbecue has the best slow-smoked ribs in Memphis?
Yeah, something like that.
Too boring.
It doesn't matter, we're out of time anyway. Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters. Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo Saturday, October 21st, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications and interviewing candidates on site. Salary starting at $54,611, increasing to $60,713 after probation. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a bit of traffic volume trying to get up through Midtown as we stare at it live on 240 northbound from Norris up to Lamar. Traffic's not bad actually over here at the 101 connector on I-40 as you make your way past Watkins. Coming down I-40 now out of Fayette County. That's still in pretty good shape all the way to Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open at it again. 7525 Highway 64. Go by and see David and the family this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
No Greg and Eli today. Zach Boyd and Jay Morgan Harder in here with you in their stead. And we have one more hour here left. It's been a really fun hour, for a really fun 2 hours, I should say, so far. We've had a lot of fun. We just did our Bag of Death, our inaugural Bag of Death, so we'll be awaiting those punishments as well. One little nugget I want to say, too. Yesterday, Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football, great show, highly recommend it to anybody. It's on NFL Network every morning. He called Jared Goff the hummus of NFL QBs. This is to say that he's bland and boring, or he said he used to be at the very least, but that is to say he's bland and boring. I'll tell you. That is some very, very poor hummus analysis there, because as an Arab man, if you tell an Arab that, it's a totally different context. If an Arab person, you said that to an Arab, they think you just called him a top 5 quarterback in the league. Hummus is a delightful dip. It's a delightful side dish, and I frankly was totally offended that he would use that as a slight against Jared Goff. I think, in fact, hummus is a great analogy for Jared Goff, because the guy's just winning football games right now for the Lions. They're 3-1. Got the Panthers this week, 10-point favorites against the Panthers this week. It'll be really exciting to see all of that as we go along. So like I said, we're about to be joined by Brandon Lang here in just a second. We have some really exciting games coming up here tonight, and there are some tonight too. There is one exciting game in the Big 12, but certainly exciting games in the National Football League coming up here. So we've got a lot of fun stuff to do here. Zach, we're ready to go. Let's go to Brandon Lang.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli is sports handicapper Brandon Lang, subject of the movie Two for the Money.
It's P equals P. You walk into a strip bar and you let her take your hand and drag you into that champagne room. Pressure equals problems. You just can't do it. And I'm telling you, pressure equals problems in the NFL.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
There's 4 things you can't handicap in sports. There's 4 things. Penalties, turnovers, player stupidity, and coaching stupidity. What are they smoking?
Also, listen to Brandon with Clay Harbor and Cam Rogers on the Believe Podcast Network.
You're on a dating app, and they don't show a body picture. Run! Run!
Now, here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
Brandon Lang joining us now. First of all, as the big voice just said, the co-host of the Believe Me podcast with Clay Harbor and Cam Rogers on the Believe Podcast Network. You can get all his plays at BrandonLang.com. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Jay Morgan with you, with Zach here, and we got a lot of fun questions to ask you. First of all,
but before,
Brandon, please go ahead.
We want to welcome you in.
Thank you, my brother. What's happening, baby?
Nothing much with you.
Brandon, I have to ask you, I have to say first, I have to quote Al Pacino. It's my favorite quote of any movie ever. I say it every week before I place my bets. I'm gambling again! And I get to do it with Brandon Lang this week. I'm very excited about it.
There we go. And you know what? Listen, the theme of this show has been my girlfriend's slap game. And she's undefeated on the year going into last week. And so after the game went off on Saturday, because the Saturday slap game was Kansas plus the 17 over Texas. And 1 hour before the game, JT Daniels, the Kansas quarterback, is out with a lower back strain. And we're sitting here going, wait a minute. There was nothing on the injury report the whole week about JT Daniels. There was nothing about his back. There was nothing in the press conferences leading up to the game. Nothing at all. This guy was out. And then an hour before the game, they scratched JT Daniels. The second stringer comes in. So she came downstairs on Sunday morning with a paddle, like the head schoolmaster paddle that you got. I never went to a private school where the headmaster had a paddle, but I can imagine that it looks something like this. And she came downstairs, and I wasn't paying attention, and she wound up. And I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, I swear to Jesus in heaven, my mom felt it. I felt it. She said, if I get penalized for that quarterback getting scratched, that's not right. And I said, you know what, babe? I said, you're absolutely correct. You lost your starting quarterback. You're not held responsible. Her Sunday slap game was the best winner on the board. Houston Texans at home +3. They buried Pittsburgh. What was the final, like 30-6, 30-7?
That's right.
Buried them. So technically speaking, B. Lang's girlfriend slap game is still undefeated. guys, I'm having trouble walking. I got a bruise on the left little, in the Forrest Gump voice, I got a little bruise on the left buttock and the right buttock. And Jenny just won't leave me alone with the slap game. She just keeps whacking and whacking and whacking. So, guys, I'm rooting for her to win because technically we're letting her be undefeated. So, I got a couple of great games that she loves this week, so we'll get to those at the end of the show. But that's kind of where we're at, boys. We're just we're a little sore riding the pine, boys. A little sore riding the pine. Just don't get caught watching the paint dry on the picket fence. Let's get her done now. Let's get her done.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, that Kansas, unbelievable JT Daniels going out. They're now underdogs this week against UCF. I want to talk about that game in a minute. I want to start with you first here in the National Football League, going across the pond, as it were. This 8:30 a.m. game, you got to wake up real early Central Time for us here. 8:30 a.m., 9:30 on the East Coast over there. It's Jags at the Bills. I guess it's really a pseudo home game for the Jaguars playing at the Tottenham Stadium. How do you justify the Jaguars being a 5.5-point underdog for all intents and purposes in a home game?
Dude, they stayed over there for the week. They stayed over for the week. They didn't come back to Jacksonville. They stayed. From what all reports are, they stayed in London for the week. Listen, coming off a divisional game, the Bills are up in Buffalo, a big emotional game off of Miami, and now traveling over to London. I just think the Jags plus the points are the way to go. If Buffalo wins the game, it's going to be a field goal game. I can tell you that much right now. Jacksonville matched up well with them. I don't know what happened to the Jags at home against Houston. Houston's beaten them 11 in the last 12. They probably should have beat Kansas City at home. Getting more than a field goal in London with the Bills coming off that divisional game. I'm all over the Jags plus the points.
Brandon, I want to hear a hot take here because after last week's thrashing against the Patriots from the Cowboys, they play the Saints this week. And now this is typically not a game that I would normally will focus in on, but because personally I like to see chaos, and because Bill Belichick has been kind of meh about Mac Jones. The game right now is favoring the Patriots by 1. They're at home. They got the Saints. What are you thinking about this?
Boy, this is the ugliest game on the board. It really is. It's just ugly. Both teams right now are playing horrible. The Saints blew the 17-point lead on the road and lost, and then came home and wet the bed against Tampa and Baker Mayfield. Now they're gone on the road against Bill Belichick, the angry man in the hoodie who's trying to get the most wins in the NFL. But at this rate, that ain't happening, Bill, because your team's not very good. Your team's not very good at all. I always say, listen, when that home team's laying a 1 number, I've always said that's a trap line. And I'm going to take the Saints on the road here. I think they've got a better defense. I think offensively they have more weapons. I think New England's in trouble. I think they stink. They absolutely stink. And you can't trust Jones at quarterback. So I think the Saints are the play.
I love that. And the Saints have a quarterback and then a pseudo quarterback that lines up in the backfield all the time. So, I mean, you got 2 for the price of 1 there. I really like that play quite a bit. Even though you said that's an ugly game, it really could be. The last NFL game I want to talk to you about before moving more to the college scene here is kind of a local flavor for us. Just up the road in Nashville, the Titans, well, I guess it's not in Nashville, but the team is just up the road. They play in Indianapolis in a divisional game this week. And the Titans are just like unbelievable. Every week it seems like Mike Vrabel is a home underdog. This week they go to a divisional game in Indianapolis, and he's a road favorite. How do you explain this one? Which team do you like?
It's funny. In this series between these two, Tennessee has flat out owned it. I wouldn't trust Ryan Tannehill on the road with your money. But at the end of the day, in this series, Tennessee-Indy, Tennessee's 5-0 straight up and against the spread last 5 games in this series. You put that together with the fact that the last 5 home games for Indianapolis, 0-5 straight up and against the spread. The right side of the game is Tennessee. Again, not a game I love, but if I had to play it, all the numbers say play Tennessee.
I need to drop one more game from the NFL
because
this is the game of the week, and we gotta have the big dogs answer on this. We gotta have your pick.
Zach's favorite team,
Cowboys in San Fran against the 49ers, or Santa Clara they're calling it these days. So Cowboys against the 49ers. Right now is at the line is at 4 favoring the 49ers. Can the Cowboys cover and win the game?
Now, she came downstairs after the paddle, and like the crop that the jockeys use to hit the horse with?
Oh, yeah.
Right, she's got one of those, too. And how she has one of those, I don't even want to get into. I mean, listen, she's a very experienced woman in life, and she's got a little A game, and so I didn't want to where she got that from, but it is what it is. She came down and did a little tappy-tappy, a little pop. She said Niners. This is Niners of the play. Listen to these numbers, guys. This is her first slap game, okay? Since they acquired Christian McCaffrey, they're 16-2 straight up and 13-5 against the spread. Talk about making money. And as a home favorite of less than 7 points with McCaffrey, they're 6-0 straight up and against the spread their last 6 games. Gets better. Wait till you hear these numbers. Since the 2020 season, so their first 7 games as a favorite to start 2020, they were 0-7 straight up and against the spread. Since then, their next 15 games as a home chalk, they are 15-0 straight up, 14-1 against the spread. How on God's earth do you go against my girlfriend rolling down when I'm at the refrigerator? Pop! And those stats right there, boys. Slap game number 1 in the NFL as she remains undefeated in the NFL. The Niners. She does say buy the half point to -3 and sit back and wait to collect your money. Bada bang, bada boom. Tony Soprano at the bada bang. Here we go.
Wow, that would be a really good game too. Sunday Night Football, 2 electric teams there. I love taking the Niners in that one. That's I also love buying the half point. That really goes a long way in the National Football League. All right. Moving over to college a little bit here, some really marquee games this weekend I'm excited about in the SEC, the Big 12, and otherwise here. We talked a little bit about that Kansas UCF a little bit, but I want to take you to Friday night tonight. I'm always looking to get an advantage on my weekend, maybe start the weekend with a little money, and there's 2. There's a Big 10 game tonight and a Big 12 game tonight. The one that jumps off the page to me is Kansas State, who I like a lot, is an 11.5-point favorite last time I looked on the road, going into Oklahoma State. Do you feel any particular way about this one?
I'm just going to tell you, Friday night home dogs, literally cover at a 79% clip in college football. You can't explain it. You just kind of shake your head and roll with it, and it's an amazing, amazing, amazing stat. Last week, Friday night, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You had NC State at home plus 3.5. They covered against Louisville. And that was your only Friday night home dog. The week before that, you had 2 Friday night home dogs, and both got it done. San Diego State plus 6 at home, lost by 3. Virginia plus 8.5 at home, lost by 3. Week before that, I'm telling you, it's Friday night home dogs. Week 3 of college football, Friday night home dog. There wasn't one. So go to week 2. It's covered every game this year. I mean, I should have been a little more prepared here, but every game this year, there was nothing week 2, and then let's go to week 1 because there was one in week 1. It's undefeated this year, literally.
Wow.
Literally undefeated this year, nothing. So it's 5-0 this year, Friday night home dog. I lean towards the 11 just because Gundy is 8-1 against the spread, 8-1 straight up, 9-0 against the spread versus foes with a winning record at home. Tough to pass up those points. In the other game, I like Nebraska plus 3.5. I think Illinois can't stop the run. They're in trouble, and they can't run the football. Nebraska is top 10 in the country in stopping the run, so I lean toward Nebraska.
Wow, I like. That's really why I asked you about that first one too. I've heard you say that stat before last year, going back to last year, and I really like that a lot. I mean, I love a home dog on a Friday night like that. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say this is the last Red River rivalry in the Big 12, Brandon. So we got Texas and Oklahoma here. So where do we stand on this? Texas, they're looking like they're good. They're showing like they're one of the best teams in the country. To start the season, 5-0 versus a Oklahoma team who's right behind them. Where do we stand on that?
Last 20 games when Texas is playing an opponent playing with revenge. Remember, I think they beat them 48-0, 49-0 last year. Now Oklahoma comes in here playing with revenge. Texas 4-16 against the spread last 20. Including 0-9 against the spread when playing away from home. I really like Oklahoma in this game, plus the 5.5, 6.
Wow, really? I mean, 2 teams that this is a game for to decide who's a wagon of these 2 teams, right? I mean, whoever wins this game has a real good shot to make the playoff.
Yeah, I just think 5's too many. I can see Texas winning the game by a field goal, but this Oklahoma team's legit. And Dylan Gabriel's playing lights out. Those receivers can catch, and they rotate 9 in their D-line. They're better than people think, and I think this game goes right down to the wire.
Well, I'll stick with the 11 o'clock window after Zach asked that one. Another good one here. LSU coming off a tough loss to Ole Miss, their second loss of the year, still in the top 25, though. I mean, losing on the road to Ole Miss and then losing to Florida State week 1, 2 very understandable losses. Missouri is undefeated, finding themselves in the top 25, yet LSU is a road favorite. I've got 4-point favorite for LSU on the road in this one. Is this another opportunity for LSU to look past an opponent coming off a tough loss last week?
I left this game alone. I just know that the second of back-to-back road games, LSU's 13-2 against the number.
Wow.
So I think the time to get Missouri was earlier this year. I think people might be late to the dance. I'm staying away from this game. I would lean toward LSU. Just I don't think Missouri is as good as everybody says, but it's hard for me to go against home dogs in college football, get more than 3. So I stayed away, but the stats tell you what LSU.
Wow.
Pac-12 going to be bye-bye after the end of this year. But so
best
far,
conference
Chip
in the
Kelly.
country.
Huh?
Best conference in the country right now.
Yeah, they're the best. Clearly the best conference right now. But right now, Chip Kelly, he looks like he got the Bruins on the right track here. They facing Washington State at home. Are we smelling upset here, Brandon?
So the paddle that she has is there's a little velvet on one side to soften the blow, but the other side is the hard side, right? So this was the other game that she came down on the other cheek with not the velvet side. She did the hard side. So that's why I'm, going to the gym today, just kind of little tweak there, boys. She's on Washington State as the college slap game, plus the points over UCLA. Check out this stat. Washington State's coming off a straight-up underdog win against Oregon State. They had a week to prepare for this game. Coming off a straight-up underdog win since 1993, Washington State is 17-0 against the spread in the following game. Bam! I mean, boy, she tattooed me. Listen, she says she didn't play girls softball like swinging a bat, but boys, I think she's lying. I think she's lying. She swung something. She swung something, boys. I don't know, but boy, I'm taking a beating. But those are the 2 slap games, boys. Washington State plus 3.5, and the Niners minus 3. There we go for the big-time slap game weekend.
Really good. Washington State playing really good football, too, it seems like, finding themselves in the top 15 as well. So that'll be a really good one also. I loved watching this team play. And, there's a Twitter page out there, Brandon. It's called the Sickos Committee, and it's just guys that like watching ugly college football. And mark me a sicko. I can't get enough of it. And the name brand Sicko team is the Iowa Hawkeyes. I eat them up. I love it so much. They're playing for their lives in terms of offense this year. Iowa, 2.5-point favorite at home this week against Purdue. Talk me out of taking the Hawkeyes if you can.
They can't score, bro. They can't score. Purdue is legit. Just hung up 44 on Illinois. They're playing great. Iowa can't score. I think the number, they're begging you to take Iowa at home, literally, and I think Purdue goes in there and gets it done. Boilermakers 6-0 against the number their last 6 trips into Iowa City.
Wow.
There you go.
Great stat.
I mean, solid. Rock solid, bruh. Rock solid.
I love the way you talked me out of it at this point, Tim. Go ahead, Zach.
I could have talked you out of it.
It's hard
Purdue,
to talk me out of the Hawkeyes. Go ahead.
Big matchup in the SEC. Number 1 Georgia versus number 20 Kentucky. Even though Georgia has not been dominant, I feel like you can't go against Kirby Smart. But then on the flip side, it's like because they're not dominant, like should I think about taking Kentucky here?
Kentucky is 15-3 against the spread with conference revenge the past 6 seasons. If they're undefeated, they're 7-0 against the spread. Not only that, Kentucky's covered the last 4 in this series. Kentucky just beat down the Florida Gators. I don't see Kentucky coming in here and getting blown out. I think Georgia's down a notch, and people haven't caught up to that yet. They struggled with Auburn last week. You got to take Kentucky plus the double digits here. You just have to. I think this Kentucky team's legit.
That is a really interesting game too. There going down there, I'm excited for that one too. Like you said, Florida has not looked good. I was surprised to see them such a large favorite in this football game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and I was weighing back and forth early in the week because everybody was explaining the Georgia how they're not as dominant, but they're still good enough, even though their quarterback is still kind of like, was it Carson Beck as their quarterback? And I was like, you know, like this kind of feels like one of those type of games where Georgia might end up losing.
Yeah, it's like that upset shocker that you get on a Saturday. I don't know about losing it outright, but they're letting teams hang around, and they haven't really played anybody. And it's not the fact Kentucky beat Florida last week. They dominated them.
No kidding.
Florida's got some athletes. They got some big-time athletes, and they've been playing well. And Napier's boys went up there and just got rocked. So, again, if Kentucky doesn't turn it over, if they win the turnover battle, yeah, I think they have a chance to shock the world. But that's a very big if when you're playing down in Georgia.
Two more games to ask you about here, Brandon. My first one is Notre Dame at Louisville. I make a habit out of betting Notre Dame every week because if I do so, it means I can skip church the next morning on Sunday and watch NFL pregame shows. So I kind of like Notre Dame minus 6.5 at Louisville this week. Can you talk me out of that? Do I have to go to church on Sunday, or is betting on Notre Dame this week enough?
Did you play the lotto on Saturday night after after Notre Dame's game last week?
I did not.
Because that was the biggest gift of the year in college football. You're laying 6 with Notre Dame. They're down 1. They're in field goal range with 40 seconds to go. The guy breaks away for the touchdown run to put him up 5. Now you need a 2-point conversion, and you get that to win by 7 and cover your 6. So if I were you, I don't know what your religion is, but you can convert to Catholicism immediately if you're that big of a Notre Dame fan winning games like that. But anyway, in this game right here, there's one play. Last 9 games as a home underdog, the Louisville Cardinals have gone over the posted total. This posted total is 54. I think Brom and his offense is going to have some success, as will Notre Dame. Play this game over 54.
Wow, great number there, too. And the last one I need to talk about, because we're going to broadcast it here on Saturday, pregame starting at 4:30. That's Ole Miss against Arkansas, playing in Oxford. Ole Miss coming off a big win of against LSU. This is kind of like a pseudo-rivalry game in its own right, Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss 11.5-point favorites. I know Arkansas's record isn't great and struggle in that regard, but is 11.5 too much to take the Rebels?
Absolutely. Arkansas already went into LSU and lost by 3 in a game that they had a chance to win outright. Came back home last week, kind of fell flat against A&M. Give Jimbo Fisher credit. They went in there and handled their business. And now Arkansas is back on the road catching double digits. Ole Miss coming off 2 emotional games, Alabama, LSU, and now you're laying double digits against this Arkansas team. Arkansas is going to come in here and cover this number, boys.
I believe it. I was totally surprised by that line completely. It had to just be people taking it because the records, and that's a great play by you too, Brandon. Brandon Lang joining us here, joins Greg and Eli every Friday at this time. He is the co-host of Believe Me podcast with Clay Harbor and Cam Rogers on the Believe Podcast Network, and you can get his plays at BrandonLang.com. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Got it, boys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Back after this.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm with John Vergus from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Vergos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
National PA Week is October 6th through 12th, so here are a few fast facts about PAs. Board-certified physician assistants are trusted healthcare providers who practice everywhere, from rural health clinics to downtown city hospitals, and do everything from routine checkups to assisting in complex surgery. PAs are dedicated to providing top-notch care to over 10 million patients every week, including you and your family. Discover more at pasdothat.net, sponsored by the NCCPA.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
So what makes a delicious chicken wing? The seasonings, of course. And at the Crazy Coop, there are 27 amazing chicken wing seasonings to choose from. You can go as hot as the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or the Crazy Suicide. Or if you can't take the heat, get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or the barbecue bacon bourbon. So many choices. They are located at 7199 Stage Road in Bartlett, where Memphis meets Bartlett. They have the full menu for you at that location, including catfish sandwiches, half-pound burgers, and great sides like fried okra, green tomatoes, and fried dill pickles. Plus the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Pick up the whole wings or the party wings or the boneless wings. Also delicious chicken tenders. And have the Crazy Coop cater your event. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. And have the Crazy Coop deliver through DoorDash to your home or office. It's the Crazy Coop. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. The Crazy Coop for delicious hot wings.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's what we're taught. I've traded this one like an old honky.
Greg and Eli should be back. No, they will be back. Not should be. They will be back next week, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they'll be back next week. And Zach will be here, per usual, next week, producing their show. So you get the normal crew back next week. But I'm Jay Morgan, and that's Zach Boyd. And we're talking. We've been talking for 2.5 hours now on the dot. How about that? It's 9:30. That's a little time for you. It's Friday, October 6th. And it's, I'm going to say 68 degrees outside, Zach. Is that correct?
Ooh, still a little cooler. 67.
How about that? 1 degree cooler. So nice cool morning for everybody. Hope you're having a nice morning. If you're a regular listener of Sports 56 throughout the day, I'm sure you've heard me run my mouth ad nauseum on multiple occasions. And you know, or you don't know, you're finding out for the first time, I like movies and TV shows. I'm a big movie fan. And so I think there's a lot of good stuff coming out this time of year. You're getting like right in that lull. Summer blockbusters are over. Halloween movies, like Halloween-themed movies are always exciting. What's your, Zach, what's your favorite Halloween-themed movie or October-themed movie? Do you have one off the top of your head?
I don't. No, I don't think I have a favorite
like
Halloween.
Scary movie? You don't like any of the scary movies?
No, I've never been a big scary movie guy. Never been.
Trying to think of another one. Oh, is Monsters Inc. Is that a Halloween movie? They're monsters. I'm gonna say it's a Halloween
when
movie.
it came out though,
I don't know. But it's a See, I almost want to group everything as like a sci-fi movie. I think that's like Scooby-Doo Halloween movie. right? They're hunting ghosts and ghouls and goblins.
But every episode, they're hunting ghosts and ghouls and goblins.
Halloween show, too. How about that? I mean, if you wanted to put that on your top 5, you know what I'm going to do later, Zach? I almost called you Bryant. You know what I'm going to do later, Zach? I'm going to do a top 5 TV show and movies for the month of October. But first, I want to tell you stuff that's out this weekend. I'm going to just start with stuff coming out today here. The Exorcist Believer. Have you heard of this movie, Zach?
No.
No,
it sounds like something I will not be watching.
Leslie Odom Jr. is in it for one thing, but he's like a secondary character. It's a play on the original Exorcist movie. It's like a new twist on it or whatever. Oh my God! It comes from Paramount Pictures. The reason why I know that. Actually, I don't think it does. I think it comes from Universal, but I feel like it came from Paramount because the reason why I say that is because it's been promoted ad nauseum all week on all of the CBS reality shows. I like Big Brother. Oh my God, I had to watch all these house guests watch this Exorcist Believer and talk about, this is such a good movie. You're going to love it. It's so good. And obviously they're just doing that because they were asked to. But Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie, 20%. So I think they are a little bit off in their love for this movie. I don't think people like it very much. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't go see it. If you like scary movies, it's a thriller. Here's the synopsis. You ready? When his daughter Angela and her friend Catherine show signs of demonic possession, it unleashes a chain of events that forces single father Victor Felding to confront the nadir of evil. Terrified and desperate, he seeks out Chris McNeil, the only person alive who's witnessed anything like this before. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a hard pass for me, man.
Me as well. Oh, that's a great way to do this. Play or pass at the end of it. So I say pass, you say pass.
Yes.
2 passes on that one. How about this one? This one opens this week, and this will be great if you got kids. Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie. Off the rip. First off, to start out here, I am offended by the name of this movie. The Mighty Movie? So just 2 years ago, Zach, the Paw Patrol movie came out. Why is this one mighty? I don't understand. Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie. So now you've written yourself into a corner. They're going to come out with another Paw Patrol movie. It's going to be what? Paw Patrol the Super Mighty Movie. I mean, you got to just either pick a number or don't do anything at all. The terrible naming by these people. Anyway, do you like Paw Patrol, by the way?
I can't say I have watched Paw Patrol, but it's cool.
I've just seen it a time or two. It's not bad. In terms of children television, not bad. I know if you are a parent out there driving this morning and you've got kids, I already know your kids love, if you're small children, they love Paw Patrol. They eat it up. It's like a drug to them, truly, Paw Patrol is. So maybe you don't want to give your kids drugs, but if you are endorsing their love of Paw Patrol Mighty Movie comes out today. Here you go. Here's a little synopsis for you. First of all, a really good rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think I saw 80-something. Let me click the back button here. 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 94% audience score. Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie will be best enjoyed by its youthful target audience, but it's sweet, thoughtful, and funny enough to entertain the whole family. Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie. What do you say, Zach? Play or pass?
Oh, that's a play.
Oh, you're playing Paw Patrol?
I'm playing that.
I'll play. You know what? 2 of them. Let's go 2 for 2. I will also play the Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie. You got a little cousin or nephew or whatever, go take them to the movie. They'll enjoy it too.
I mean, you might get grown people just going.
Maybe just grown people. That's true. How about this one?
Might.
This one I'm really excited about too. This is a great movie here. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to because I love this kind of stuff. Expendables 4, but it's Expend for Bowls. Have you seen the title of this movie? So, the other ones is like Expendables, Expendables 2, Expendables 3. This one, they replaced the A in Expendables with a 4, so it's Expend for Bowls. But for all intents and purposes, it's the Expendables 4 here. Here's the synopsis. Armed with every weapon they can get their hands on, the Expendables are the world's last line of defense, and the team gets called in when all other options are off the table. You got Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Megan Fox, a star-studded cast. What do you think about this one, Zach?
Yeah, I'm on the fence.
How about this? Huge discrepancy in this stuff. 13% Rotten Tomato meter, 71% audience score. Those are some of my favorite movies when they have that big discrepancy. Here's the critic consensus. Solid work from Jason Statham and some halfway decent set pieces aren't enough to make up for Expendables, lackluster action, and cheap-looking effects. But the audience says, if you're looking for action and you like the other movies, Expendables is better than the average option. That might be enough for me to go see this one. I love action like this. Gratuitous violence is right up my alley. This is a play for me, Zach. What do you say?
Don't like the name, but I'll play it.
You'll play it? You like the
I'll
action?
play it.
Sylvester Stallone. How many more options? How many more chances do you have to go see this guy shoot guns and kill the bad guys? I mean, it's gonna be great stuff. I'm really excited.
But I think mostly everybody, or at least from the men folks, they probably want to see Megan Fox in it.
That, you know what? That's a fair point, by you know what? And we shouldn't even do. Some women probably want to see Megan Fox too. She's that attractive of a woman.
I have never heard a woman say, I want to go see Megan Fox in a movie.
Is that right?
I've never heard that.
But doesn't mean they're not out there, Zach. Some might be out there.
It might be. I'm not. Hey,
they're just not in our circles.
I am not ashamed of your game.
How about
If
this?
That's what you want. That's what you want. Man.
In the same way that I starred games for John Varlas, I starred 2 movies here that I really, if you're not listening to this point, listen up now. These 2 you have to go see, okay? This one, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to play it for sure. I'll tell you before I even start here. The first one is called Dumb Money. Okay, you might have heard of this stuff. Remember a couple years ago, Zach, there was the stock market meme stuff
GameStop
with the GameStop. So this movie is based on that. It stars Paul Dano and Shailene Woodley, both Academy Award nominated at least. I don't think Paul Dano's one, but they've both been nominated. Seth Rogen and Pete Davidson are in it. It's a star-studded cast here. Here's the synopsis. Everyday people flip the script on Wall Street and get rich by turning GameStop into one of the world's hottest companies. In the middle of everything is a man named Keith Gill, a regular guy who starts it all by sinking his life savings into the stock. When his social media posts start blowing up, so does his life and the lives of everyone following him. As a stock tip becomes a movement, everyone gets wealthy until the billionaires fight back and both sides find their worlds turned upside down. Really good stuff in terms of audience score and stuff like that. Rotten Tomatoes is raving about this. 84% tomato score, 86% audience score. Everybody loves it. This is from Margot Harrison. Dano makes an effective central presence as he's shown in many previous roles, and he can use his unassuming moon face to turn on a dime from a seemingly passive, guileless pawn to a conniving antagonist. I have been waiting to see this movie forever. I'm so excited it's out. I'm going to see it right away. What about you?
Yeah, that's a pass. I mean, no, not pass. That's a
play.
That's a play. Excuse me. That's a play. Yeah, I think it was interesting when it happened, because it happened when I was in college. Like that, when that whole thing with GameStop taking over the stock, I was like, what is going on with GameStop today?
Diamond
Because it was just random. It's like everybody just all of a sudden just went in on investment in GameStop.
Crazy.
So I think even though it's being dramatized a little bit, I still think there's some information in there that it hasn't been displayed or people haven't talked about. So yeah, I'll play it.
And I'm excited to see Paul, like what that review just said, talking about Paul Dano's turn, as does the turn in the story. I think he's a great actor in that regard. He's been nominated for Academy Award. Paul Dano, great. I mean, just a tremendous actor, one of the world's best. Most recently, if you don't know the name by itself, he was in the Fabelmans movie that Steven Spielberg did last Christmas. He was in that. Been in a ton of stuff, so he's one of our great actors, and that I'm so excited for that movie. And Seth Rogen and Pete Davidson are in it too. If you like to laugh, those are funny guys as well. So that'll be a really good movie. I highly recommend going to see that one. This one I've been talking about for weeks now. I know my friends and family are tired of me talking about it, but I cannot stress enough. Everybody should go see this movie. It is one of the 4 best movies I've ever seen in my life. And it's a documentary. It's a concert movie. It's called Stop Making Sense. It is directed by the man that directed The Silence of the Lambs, one of my other 4 favorite movies of all time. And this movie is just a concert. They film a concert. They're filming The Talking Heads, and they do a concert. It's 80 minutes long, so it's not like one of these long 2-3 hour movies nowadays. If you have 80 minutes to spend and it's only playing at the Paradiso, you have to go see this. Here's the synopsis. Director Jonathan Demme captures the frantic energy and artsy groove of Talking Heads in this concert movie shot at the Hollywood Pentagon's Theater in 1983. The band's frontman David Byrne first appears on an empty stage armed with only an acoustic guitar and gradually is joined by the bassist, drummer, and keyboardist and a ton of backup singers as they perform the band's hits, culminating in iconic performances featuring Byrne in an enormous suit. Not only is he joined by one person at a time, the entire backdrop is set up. They add different elements to the background where it becomes an entire stage production. The choreography is unbelievable. If you like the Talking Heads, if you don't like the Talking Heads, if you just like music and you're looking for something lighthearted to do on any night this weekend, Paradiso has extended it. For a while, they were only playing it one time a night at 9:30. They actually 4 showings today, 4 showings tomorrow, 4 showings on Sunday at the Paradiso. I cannot recommend people go see this enough. It's a definite play from me. Zach, please say it's a play from you.
That might be a pass.
You got to say play, though. Oh, no,
That
I
might be
understand.
a
No, you got
pass.
to be honest. I appreciate you being honest. Tell you what, I can't recommend it enough. It's unbelievable. For a movie that is just a concert movie that has no narrative, it tells such a story. I can't even explain it to you how much I love this movie. It's one of my 4, I'm not exaggerating, it is one of the 4 favorite movies I've ever seen. I can give you that whole list sometime if you want to. I just had to take a movie off of there. Very sad I had to take a movie off. Nonetheless, it's an unbelievable movie. I've got, how many more do I have here? I've 2 more. 2 more showing this weekend. This one's been out for a while. If you have already seen it, great for you. If you haven't, you really should. The Equalizer 3. Oh, I love the Equalizer movies. Denzel Washington in this one, Dakota Fanning. I love Denzel Washington. I'll literally see anything Denzel Washington does as long as he's acting. Here's the synopsis. And it might not need one because it's the 3rd movie in the franchise. Since giving up his life as a government assassin, Robert McFall, played by Denzel Washington, finds solace in serving justice on behalf of the oppressed. Now living in southern Italy, he soon discovers his new friends are under control of the local crime bosses. As events turns deadly, McCall becomes their protector by taking on the mafia. I love the Equalizer. I want to see the Equalizer 3 so bad. I still haven't seen it. I need to go see it. It's being raved about by the Rotten Tomatoes. I got a 75% tomato score. 95% of audiences love this movie. Here's the critical consensus. Another entertaining outing from Denzel Washington. Equalizer 3 mostly makes up for its formulaic story with generous helpings of cathartic action. Oh, man! I'm excited. Definite play from me. What do you say, Zach?
Oh, I don't know how many times I got to hit play to show my support. Play all of it.
Play it. I mean, we're going to get that view count up for Denzel Washington. He's a great actor. I can't wait to see this one. And the last movie here, it's also playing on Disney Plus, but Malco does a great deal, and the movie-going experience is great. I love it. I truly love the movie-going experience. It's just a different element to watch a movie in a theater. You have to put your phone away from a while and really immerse yourself with this giant screen and these loudspeakers. It's a great experience to go see a movie. So I love going to see movies that might be readily available to see them when they're playing in the theaters. And there's a Halloween-themed movie that's playing in theaters this week, Hocus Pocus. Playing all the time on the Disney Channel. Like I said, streaming on Disney Plus. Hocus Pocus is that. I'll give you a synopsis if you haven't seen it. Hopefully everyone's heard of this at this point. After moving to Salem, Massachusetts, teenager Max Dennison explores an abandoned house with his sister Danny and their new friend Allison. After dismissing a story Allison tells as superstitious, Max accidentally frees a coven of evil witches played by Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, who used to live in the house. Now, with the help of a magical cat, the kids must steal the witch's book of spells to stop them from becoming immortal. It's not the most critically acclaimed movie of all time. 70% of audiences like it, 40% Rotten Tomatoes, but it's a cute little movie. It came out in 1993. It's a cute movie. It's Halloween. It's a great movie to watch this time of year. Are you going to go see Hocus Pocus, Zach? Play or pass?
It's a pass.
A pass? Oh, have you seen Hocus Pocus?
I think I have.
It's been on Disney Channel so many times while we were growing up. You had to have at least seen part of it at some point.
Yeah, I've probably seen part of it, but it's like,
Not the favorite, but I like Bette Midler a lot. I like Sarah Jessica Parker. And I like Kathy Najimy. So I'm going to go see this movie in theaters again. I think it's a really fun Halloween experience, and I think everyone would enjoy it.
Weren't they a part like Sex and the City?
Sarah Jessica Parker was for sure.
Oh, okay.
Bette Midler, classic stage actress. Funny girl. You'll be swell. You know, that kind of thing. You want me to I'll start doing show tunes if you like.
What you going to be, going full thespian right now?
Oh, I am a thespian at heart. In my heart, I'm a song and dance man.
Really?
Oh, I fancy myself a song and dance man for sure.
Didn't know that.
Maybe another day on the radio, I'll get to perform.
Just the whole Rockettes routine.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Rockettes. Oh man, the Thanksgiving Day parade they close with the Rockettes. Oh man, nothing better than that. We got more. Back after this.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Appleton and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
DraftKings Sportsbook hooking new customers up. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, all customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code HERD. Got to use the code HERD, H-E-R-D. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet 5 on the NFL. That's code HERD, H-E-R-D. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles in Louisiana. 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend I don't live.
I mean, there's so much happening right now on the internet. I can't even get to all of it. I wanted to talk about my top 5 TV shows and movies for the month of October that actually has something like 20 some odd things here, but I don't really even have time for that. All I have to do is ask Zach real quick whether or not Get Out is a Halloween movie. Yes or no? It's horror.
I don't think it is.
You guys see, I didn't think Monsters Inc.
Like when did Get Out come out?
No, but that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I don't think it came out. I think it was a summer blockbuster. But nonetheless, it's a Halloween movie because of the subject matter. And nonetheless, and also, if you hear nothing else I say today, if you haven't seen you've seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Have you seen Rocky Horror, Zach?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, neither is Bryant. That's okay. It's I remember doing the time warp. I remember the first time I did the time warp, and I can't wait to do it again. I'm going to start that viewing probably once a week, starting tonight. I'll watch that once a week through the month of October until Halloween gets here, so that'll be fun. Some news to break here. Diana Rossini, I believe, was the first to report a trade has happened. Diana Rossini of The Athletic. The Chicago Bears are trading Chase Claypool to the Miami Dolphins per league sources. They are getting in return a 2025 6th-round pick. It's ridiculous for Claypool and a 2025 7th-round pick for Chicago. I mean, it's not ridiculous. They clearly wanted that man out of Chicago. So now that's Mike Tomlin wanted him out, and now it's the Bears wanted him out after being a healthy scratch. He looks like he's found some respite down in Miami with an offense that is scheming. I mean, if you hear coaches around the league talk about the way that Coach McDaniel schemes, it's unbelievable what they're doing. And now they have another weapon to scheme with if they even want to use him. There's no necessity to use him necessarily. They have their speed guys on the outside, or it's like 4-2, 4-2. I mean, just unbelievable speed on that team. You excited for them to use Chase Claypool, Zach, you think?
It's either or. Like it's so funny because like if I'm not mistaken, like Chicago traded a second for this man last year.
That's right.
If I'm right,
I think that's right. And
I think they traded a 2nd-round pick for him.
That's how much they hated him.
And that's pretty high for a guy that you just flipped for pretty much a 6.
If Mike Tomlin's telling you he doesn't want him, Yeah, exchange for their 2nd-round pick, 32nd overall. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. But I think from Miami standpoint of things, it does give you a different dynamic. You don't have, you have 2 little guys that are fast, and now you add a 6'2" receiver that can run a 4.2.
And I will say this too. Excellent wide receiver leadership in the locker room, where it's not like Chase Claypool's voice is going to be so loud. There's other voices at his position group even that can shut him down. And he did not have that, I don't think, in Pittsburgh. And he certainly didn't have that, even though he was not the best receiver on the team in Chicago. And that probably made him upset, too, that he wasn't the best. They went out and got DJ Moore.
Well, I think not getting DJ Moore is not the problem. It's just he wasn't seeing the field.
But healthy scratch, though. I mean, his attitude was clearly the problem.
Clearly.
Based on reports. So and Mike Tomlin said as much. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses Miami. The last thing I have to touch on here, this is hilarious. So I saw this yesterday afternoon. Julius Randle, you see his new deal, Zach?
Julius Randle?
Uh-huh. Julius Randle has a new deal, for shoes. He's got a new deal for shoes.
Oh, I'm talking about a contract.
No. It is a contract, but for shoes. He is expected to be the new spokesperson for Skechers basketball sneakers. Unexpected development. Wearing Skechers while playing for Tom Thibodeau, playing 48 minutes a game. I mean, that is a diabolical thing you're doing to your knees. He's not going to make it through the season. Your thoughts?
Skechers?
He's wearing Skechers! Playing for Tom Thibodeau. He's going to play the whole game in Skechers for 82 games in a season. What is going on?
I knew Skechers made tennis shoes. I did not know they were in the basketball line.
Lonzo Ball lost his career because of bad shoes. Lost a career. And Julius Randle is going to test the gods of fate playing for Tom Thibodeau, of all people, in Skechers? I can't believe it, Zach. I'm dumbfounded. I honestly, Julius Randle's knees need their own lawyer. Someone needs to represent Julius Randle's knees because no one is looking out for those two guys. And he's already a bigger guy. No, he's lost a lot of weight. He's felt, but he's a big guy. And his knees already have a lot of pressure on him. And now he's going to be wearing Skechers, Zach. I find that to be absolutely diabolical.
He repping the old man game, that's all.
He must be.
That's the old man game.
He must be. Well, on that note, that's all we've got time for this week. Greg and Eli will be back next week. Thanks for listening. More Sports 56 after this.